Gary Payton and the Seattle Supersonics.
Tyler Lockett from the Seattle Seahawks.
DK Metcalf.
John and Sue with
the Favreau.
This is Nate Burleson. You're watching NorbCam.
NorbCam. You're watching NorbCam.
Okay, take two. All right, so this is my first part of the stream got all messed up. I don't know, had bad connection. So, when all else fails, you jump back, you reboot, you start over. Oh, and I realize my chat's not working right now because I forgot to do something. So I'm going to do some live editing on the spot because I did a little mess up here. So while I'm doing this, I'm going to pick up where I left off, and I'm going to reintroduce my guest, who was just starting to talk about that Packer game, but he got so rudely interrupted by this technology glitch. There's the live stream. Okay, so let me bring back my guest from KGRG Radio, Noah Boelter. Noah, are you with me?
Yeah. We made it.
We're back. All right, sweet. Okay, so I don't know how much people actually heard of what you were saying about the game. You were starting to talk about how the Seahawks fought back, and you thought that was pretty valiant of them. But why don't you pick it up, more or less take two on that, because I don't think most people heard what you said. And let's just try this one more time. So, your thoughts before we go into the future season of the Seahawks. What was your thoughts on that game?
I was impressed with our fight, with our effort. We got a very young roster at a lot of positions. Our 2018 draft was a very similar, or our 2019 whatever last year was. It was very similar to our 2012 draft, very productive. We got a lot of starters out of it, a lot of people that are going to play minutes down the road. Ugo Amadi, Marquise Blair, all these young guys, Cody Barton. They got a lot of snaps this year, and the more experience they get, it's going to help them out down the road. I really liked our effort. We were talking before the live stream, and I said this the last time it went on take one, was that essentially the Seahawks, all we can ask for, especially with how we play, is we want a shot in the ball game, and we had it despite being down 20 points in the first half. We were still able to come back, and we had an opportunity, 3rd and 5 situation where Russell Wilson's got to convert, and we just weren't able to get it done. We'll get into the details about that, but overall, I like the fight, and there's a lot of bright things to look forward to as Seahawks fans.
Yes, I agree with you on the fight, and this, I guess not to get too much into the dissecting of the entire game, because I spent so much time doing that on the last one, but just kind of focusing on the last couple of minutes. That drop by Malik Turner was so huge because we were on such a roll, and it's just the fact that the ball was right in his. Well, he should have used his hands, but he used his chest to try to catch the ball and bounced off his chest, and then, of course, led to the 3rd down that we didn't convert after that, or put us into a 4th down and 11. And so it's really more to ask on some certain pivotal points of where there's been a lot of debate. 4th and 11, did you want us to kick, or did you think we should go for it at that point?
So here's the thing. When the 3rd down happened, when it got to 4th down, I wanted us to kick. But when it was 3rd and 5, I was watching this game, and I was analyzing what I was seeing, and I was like, okay, Russell, you need to be great right here. I was talking to myself because you talk to yourself when you watch the game. I was like, Russ, you got to see that they're about to blitz off the right, and you got to at least check over there to see how your blocker's doing. Of course, it's the one play where Jacob Hollister and Jermaine Fetty missed a block on Preston Smith, and Russell Wilson happens to not be looking that way. All 3 of those things had to happen in order for that to hit the fan, if you will, and unfortunately that's what happened. So I was really disappointed with that. The sack is what's made the 4th down so difficult, and it all came after that drop. And then on defense, the pivotal points, I was extremely disappointed with the fact that we just kept trying to blitz Rodgers and get him off his spot when we weren't getting pressure anyways. I'm more of a fan of, you got to throw him something that he's not expecting. You got to run some form of cover 6 where you show blitz and then you drop everyone back, like cover 6 invert if you have to. Bring everyone in, show a blitz, and then drop into a different look. Only send 3, only send 2. We're not going to get to Rodgers before he can get rid of the ball, and we have to try and confuse him because he was just tearing us apart in our man-to-man defense. We don't have the personnel to match with, the skill position players in the divisional round of the playoffs. Those were all some key instances where I thought the Seahawks, took a false step.
So you're okay with the punt? at the time.
I agreed with the punt because
did
on
too.
third down, I was like, if we get sacked, we have to punt, so don't get sacked.
Right.
And then we got sacked.
What sucked about the sack is not only did we not cover the blitz on that one, but the 2-point conversion, same exact thing. Blitz off the right side, untouched. I think beast mode was on in that one and missed the block. And somehow Russell didn't see it. It's not his blind side, but the side he's facing. He doesn't see it twice. The 2-point conversion and that one. And I didn't mention this last time, but we were so close in this game, regardless of the things we did wrong. But add to that a missed field goal, and then the just aforementioned 2-point conversion. We get the field goal and the 2-point conversion. Guess what? It's a tie ball game, folks. And I didn't even really think about that until I started doing the math later, and someone brought it up. It's like, damn, we would have been tied if we just executed those 2 plays. 3 of them, those 3 points should have been made. But again, that's a whole nother discussion about special teams. But there was plenty of stuff that could have been done differently. All the more, I think, highlighting the fact that we should have won that game. We should have won that game. We just played terribly offensively anyway. Well, defense, everything in the first half was just a horrible game where you could just start at a million places. But it's the little things, man. It's those little things that add up to big things. But, one thing I want to ask your take on is, there's been a lot of discussion. Our defense clearly had struggled all year long. And I felt like watching that divisional game, the same problems we had in game 1 against the Bengals and again against the Rams when we lost badly and again against the Packers. I kept saying the same stupid movie over and over again. Guys running the slant, one step across the middle, and nobody covering them, nobody touching them, nobody disrupting them, and them getting the ball, catching it, and running it for 10, 12 yards. And that never improved throughout the year. So I kept wondering, is that a talent issue? Or is that a coaching /scheme issue? And if it's a coaching scheme issue, how do you fix that? Is that the head coach? Do we need to change our D coordinator? These are the questions I'm asking myself, and I'm sure a lot of people watching this right now are thinking the same thing. So Noah, in your brilliant expertise of NFL genius, tell me the answer. I need to know what is going on with our defense, and how do we fix it?
Okay, so there are some philosophies and some schemes that we need to input that whoever it is, I don't care if it's Ken Norton. I think he's done a fine job developing some of our young talent. I'm fine with if it's him. But there are some serious flaws that we had all season long and that didn't get better when they needed to come playoff time. For instance, you talked about how we always get beat on slant because we're always running man-to-man and we're not pressing the corners. We got to press the corners more, especially with the type of corners that we try and bring in, is those lengthy corners with long arms. They can win hand battles. Within those first 5 yards, it's a dogfight. Those defensive backs can get pretty much as physical as they want to as long as they don't hold. That's what we need to take advantage of because after that, we can't touch them and we'll get flagged as Seahawks, even getting close. Another thing that we have to work on, that play calling that I was talking about, key situations where we're giving up those slants, if we show them a man coverage and we drop our outside linebacker lined up to go blitz, we drop Jadeveon Clowney, he could intercept one of those slants. We got to run coverages that are more surprising that we don't show on tape, where we're dropping people that aren't supposed to get dropped and people are where they're not supposed to be because they're running their schemes to where nobody is, and that's right in that alley between the middle where Bobby Wagner and KJ are and the outside where those corners are. We got to get people in there by dropping them when they're not expecting them. Another key issue that I had with the Green Bay game specifically, multiple instances, and then throughout the season, Trey Flowers has had a lot of issues with this. Shaquille hasn't had as many, but he's not great at it. They're all better at it when it's in front of them. And it's when you're running down the field. I saw so many times throughout the season where Trey Flowers had great positioning. He was running with the offensive wide receiver, and he was ready to make a play on the ball. But two things. He didn't get his head around and find the football, and he didn't put his hands up as if to block it. The wide receiver is trained in football so that he does not tip you off until that ball actually gets there. He's supposed to, like, the defensive back knows. He's supposed to, like, watch your eyes, see if they get wider, because when they get wider, the ball's coming, right? Well, as a defensive back, you just got to put your hands up. And I'm talking about way too early. People put their hands up on Harden for no reason in basketball, right? He's not shooting yet, but he has such a quick release, he could shoot at any time. Same within football. They can catch at any time. You don't know where the football is. You got to get your hands up. There were a couple plays, including the third down play or Ugo Amadi made the big play, or didn't make the big play with Devontae Adams. If Ugo just gets his hands up, there's a chance he swats or he blocks the ball, tips it out of the way. Those are some key issues that I have. We got to show them some more confusing looks that they haven't seen before. We got to press our corners more, and we got to get our hands up as defensive backs.
So it sounds to me like I'm hearing more of a coaching issue than I am a talent issue.
Yes.
So do you feel like this team's got the coaches in place to make that adjustment, or is a change needed?
You know, I look at our defensive backs coach, and I'd start there. It's Nick Sorensen. You know, he's a good guy, but he wasn't able to get it done this year, and I didn't see improvement throughout the year. Based on what I saw on the field, obviously I'm not in the Seahawks locker room. I can't tell you. Like, I can't speak on him, like, as someone that knows him. But from what we saw on the field, they either need to change it or find someone that will. Those are, like, I don't know all the dynamics in the locker room. I'm not here to, like, call for their jobs. If it was like Pete Carroll, I'd understand. But Nick Sorensen, I don't get to hear where his mind's at. I don't get to hear him at the press conference, so I can't really speak on it. But I would say the secondary coach is where we have to start. Those are the key things that we need to fix, are the things I just outlined.
Yeah, I agree. It's, I brought this up looking back at the when we had the Legion of Boom. There was a couple things that were very different. When you mentioned the press coverage, and you watch Richard Sherman, you know, he's hand fighting with that receiver. Those first 5 yards, and first 5 yards, you can do almost anything you want to the receiver as long as it's within the 5 yards, other than grabbing and pulling the guy down. You're allowed to contact him, and we haven't done enough of that. So I agree with you 100% there. And then secondly, that middle part of the field, I think we can get a lot more creative with the schemes. But also, it would be nice to have a Cam Chancellor type back there to create a little bit of fear in the middle, because we just don't have that fear in the middle. But I think I think you hit on the head with the creativity, just not showing. It feels like the Seahawks just kind of walk up and go, "Hey guys, here's what we're doing. See if you can stop us." And these other teams like the 49ers and the Rams, and they're all going like, we might be going left. We might be running. No, maybe we're going to do this. And you're just guessing the whole time. And it caught us off guard every single time. And maybe we need to play that game as well. So I'd love to see a little more ingenuity from both sides of the ball, like you were saying. So I'd like to, let me get some calls in here. I'll mix it up. A lot of people on the line waiting. And let me get one of my moderators, actually, from up north in Alaska, Jessica, has been always there on the chat, but doesn't call in all the time. Jessica, are you... Wait, hold on a second. Jessica, are you there? Hello, Jessica. Uh-oh. Please don't tell me I'm having a equipment malfunction. That would just be... Oh, it could be. Hold on a second. All right. Hang on tight. I'm getting to you. Well, while I'm working on yet another technical difficulty, I feel like the Seahawks trying to make adjustments at halftime. Good luck with that. Let's see. What else? While I'm getting this all worked out. Well, what do you think moving forward? What's your thoughts of what's our biggest need? I guess it's going to be free agency before we start talking draft. So it was a lot of guys that we got to make some decisions on. I'd say number one on the list is Jadeveon Clowney. Did Seahawks bring him back?
No question. We got to bring him back. We got to pay him. We got to do whatever he wants. I am concerned with him coming back because I don't buy that he doesn't know where he wants to be yet. All he said is that he wants to go to a contender, and that's first and foremost. He wants to be in the Super Bowl. He definitely feels like, I don't know if he feels like we had a shot this year, but I know that we did. I would hope that he believes the same thing. Seattle's not the ideal destination, but it was one of the teams that he talked about he'd be open to, as well as Philadelphia when he was in Houston requesting the trade. Another key free agent that I was looking for, because I was doing a little show prep for my show, I was talking about free agents that the Seahawks need. One guy that I really think we need, and this is a veteran presence. He's been around the league. He's been here a couple years. Ronald Darby. What if we were to, or excuse me, not Ronald Darby. I always get these two confused. Bradley Roby. I'm pulling up some of his stats from just this past season. He had 2 interceptions, 8 passes defense. He only played 10 games, but we need a guy that can have a veteran presence in the locker room. We saw the difference it made when Quandre Diggs came in, how quickly just having a veteran was able to help our back end. Bradley Roby, he can get physical. He was in Denver for all that time. Last year he was in Houston. If we could bring in like a Bradley Roby, a veteran presence, not afraid to get physical, high football IQ, just to solidify our secondary, I feel like that would be a very big piece.
Well, that would be very intriguing if we can see if we can make some moves like that. So, yeah, it's going to be a very intriguing offseason. This whole offseason is going to be crazy with all these quarterbacks potentially hitting the open market, veteran quarterbacks, including Tom Brady, potentially Drew Brees, potentially Cam Newton, potentially Jameis Winston, right? These are all names that potentially could hit the market out there. So it's going to be interesting, not just from a Seahawks perspective, but from lots of different players that whose futures are uncertain. So let me see now. Still working on this sound issue. Jessica, by chance, are you there? Yeah, of course not. All right, still working on this. Sorry, guys. Technical glitch. Well, let me talk to you about something that it was interesting that came up. I don't know. Did you hear about that article about it was some online article or something about wanting to fire Pete Carroll?
I have a coworker that thinks like that. I don't know if you know him, Digital Jake from Brook and Jubal in the Morning. He's on the fire Pete bandwagon.
Oh, he is. Okay.
I don't agree with that. I like, first of all, how Pete addresses the media is with the ultimate professionalism. He does an excellent job at it. He doesn't reveal too much. He's funny. He has a great personality, and he's real. He brings in he really sets the tone, builds the culture in Seattle, and that's what's so important. Whenever we talk about people that come, oftentimes people don't want to come to Seattle, but once they get here, they're like, oh, this isn't so bad. Well, it's because they're getting to know Pete Carroll. They're in an environment where it's competitive. Everyone has a shot. It's not a lot of big superstars that come to Seattle because those are the ones that want to get paid and they want to go have the spotlight on them. Not as many divas. We get those guys that want to work hard, that want to win no matter what. And so that's why it would kind of fit for Jadeveon Clowney to come back. But in terms of how we are as a franchise, I definitely I'm confident in our ability to bring him back at some point.
Yeah, it made me start thinking, looking back on the last few years, I started thinking about the draft, and I started thinking about how have we done with the draft. And one of the glaring things that stood out was we really needed to address the pass rush, and we attacked that hard. When we went in the first pick of our draft was L.J. Collier. Mm-hmm. And then we got Jadeveon Clowney. And then we got Ziggy Ansah. And I thought, okay, and we'll have Jaron Reed on a contract year. We're going to have a great pass rush by the time we get to the end of the year. Well, all those things happen. But guess what? What happened to our first-round pick? What happened to L.J. Collier? He wasn't even on the field for the last quarter of the year. I mean, he just quietly sort of disappeared, right? He wasn't injured. Yeah. He just disappeared. And that's our first pick of the draft, and he's not even on the field? That's concerning to me that we missed that badly. And I remember, at the time, we were all like, who's L.J. Collier? But he wasn't even playing, And so that's a bit, concerning that are we missing that badly on the draft? It's starting to make me wonder, looking back at some of our draft picks. We've missed on a few. What's his face? ATV guy. Malik McDowell. McDowell. That was as bad as it gets. He didn't even suit up for practice practically. Right. He was a number one pick. We've had some swings and misses. So we had some great ones, but our early picks are often not so great. So I'm a little concerned, as far as our evaluation of talent. What do you think?
No question. And part of it is because we like to trade out of the first round and we go to the area where you're not going to get those guaranteed hits, but you're going to, there are still some people on the board with questionable, intangibles. And that's the type of people that we've been drafting, or at least in terms of Malik. And so that's kind of been where we've been missing a little bit. I'd like to see Seattle in this upcoming
This service
draft,
is provided by
finally take the time and just take someone that's a safe pick, one of the best guys at a position of need. Defensive line would be a big one. I'd be fine if they replace Fetty at this point with all the penalties, or find someone in the secondary. Just go with the safe pick, though. Stop trying to find a diamond in the rough.
Yeah. Well, I think I might have resolved our problem. I made my halftime adjustments. Let's try this again. Let me see if I can get Jessica on the line. Thanks for your patience, you guys. Jessica, tell me you're with us.
Hey.
All right. Touchdown.
Yeah.
Okay. Jessica, I haven't talked to you in a while. Oh, man. Well, I wish I could say my spirits are up, but, it's kind of hard to be up.
Oh,
with,
yeah.
On a week like this where you keep hearing now about the next round. It's going to be the Packers and the Niners. Ugh. Make me want to throw up.
Oh, I know.
But anyway, but here we are.
So depressing.
Yeah. So how are you doing? Wait, you're up in Alaska, right?
Actually, yeah, we're up here in Alaska. It's been a little crazy with the weather lately. We've got down to 40 below.
Oh my
God. Yeah.
Jeez. Oh, wow. Okay.
And
I'm not gonna
I don't even
complain
know
about
how
it.
we all do it, but we survive somehow.
Wow, 40 below. That's nuts. But
yeah, and I apologize about not being on the chat all the time because I just I'm about 2 weeks away from graduating. So
hey, congratulations!
That's the only reason why I haven't. I know. Thank you.
That's awesome.
I'll be helping people with addiction, like drug or alcohol addiction.
Okay. All right. Good. Helping people who definitely need it. You're a good, spark of life in this world to bring some happiness and help to some people. So that's awesome. Congratulations.
It reminds me of I think Russell Wilson had some kind of app where he was going on and chatting with his fans like live. And I was telling him about that, and he actually texted me back, and he was like, "That's so cool, Jessica."
Really? Wow. Straight from the man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. Russell Wilson, give us some love.
Well, yeah, so about
north.
the season, the season has been so amazing as far as like just keeping us on our toes and dramatic and just everything you could ask for, from losing Carson and Rashad Penny and getting beast mode back and, winning that 49ers game, that first one. Oh my God, just amazing games. So
yeah.
Even though the last one, we got kicked out, I mean, it's just been an amazing season, and I just can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, well, that's what I talked about in my previous video. I spent the first part just being on the positive side, and that was that this has been a really amazing, entertaining season. I mean, what more can you ask for? To have every game down to the wire, it drives you crazy, but at the same time, that's what makes it fun, right? It's no fun to watch a blowout.
Yeah, you don't want to be up 40 points. And
yeah, it's boring.
Just
that's no fun. Yeah, so we got definitely our entertainment dollars worth, but it also was about, even though you don't win the big one, because there's only going to be one team that wins it all, but that doesn't mean your season was for nothing. You get to go back and remember all the great plays, all the great moments in every season. You have them, no matter how good or bad your team is. You always have those highlights, but we had a lot of really spectacular highlights of offense, defense, but. The unexpected return of beast mode. I mean, talk about theatrics, man. That was just something that, you could never have imagined was going to happen. So we had a lot of great things to be appreciative of, as far as this season's concerned. But it's always hard when it comes to the end because it's just suddenly over. And then you got to feel like you're like, okay, knocked off the mountain. You got to go all the way back to the bottom, ground zero, and start back up all over again, But that's what everybody else has to do too. So,
and like one of my favorite plays was from from Tyler Lockett, that one catch he made at the very corner, you know?
Oh, the Rams
that
game.
one was such a memorable catch. And then even though Jacob Hollister, you know, he kind of dropped the ball this last game, he has had so many amazing catches.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't be mad at the guy, you know? He made that one win against, what was it, the Eagles, or I forget which team it was against.
Overtime, he got the winning catch against the Buccaneers, which was exciting.
The Bucs, yeah, okay,
yep.
That's right.
That was a great game.
So I mean, he was good too, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unexpected. Nobody would have thought we'd be yelling Jacob Hollister's name. We didn't even know how to pronounce his name when he first showed up. He's like, "Who's this guy from the Patriots? What?" And all of a sudden, every tight end we had, like our running back crew, all three tight ends. Gone.
Yeah.
Hollister, you're the one and only. It was the same thing with the running backs. It's like, boom, everyone's gone. Okay, it's now Homer, and then Beast Mode and Robert Turbin return. So no, it's been a great ride. You know,
I have a question for you, actually. Okay, so I was listening to oh God, what's the guy's name? I'm having a brain fart.
It's a TV, radio.
He does like podcasts. He
Mike
does
Florio?
No, oh my God, I'm forgetting his name. He likes the Seahawks. He always has like a top 10. Like,
I know what you're talking about. It's he's from here. Shoot.
Yes.
Help us out in the chat, you guys.
You're forgetting it too.
I know. Yeah, he does the 3-word description of teams every week. Come on.
Colin Cowherd?
Yes.
Colin Cowherd.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So he said something recently. He said that any team would trade their quarterback for Lamar Jackson, and I was thinking, no, not going to happen with Wilson. What would you say? Would you switch Russell Wilson for Lamar Jackson?
No way.
Exactly.
He's the flavor of the month. He's the flavor of the month right now. But I think he's going to be great. Assuming he protects himself. I think he's got to learn to protect himself because that body's not going to be able to take all that punishment he subjects himself to. But as we learned quickly from the Titans showed us that even the most invincible team can be taken down by a very unexpected place. So even Lamar Jackson and the mighty Ravens could not get it done this year. I mean, they were shut down big time. And I have to admit, as much as I like watching that guy play, I was kind of smiling thinking about, the fact that they did not make it. I was kind of rooting for the underdogs since we're underdogs ourselves, So,
yeah, and the Ravens had 12 Pro Bowlers this season. The Seahawks had 2. And Russell Wilson still had more playoff wins this year than Lamar has in his career.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's I feel like that's a big reason why we definitely got to stick with Russ. He's definitely he plays it smart a way that Lamar still needs to learn how to.
Yeah. Somebody in the chat said that he actually was talking about Patrick Mahomes. I don't know if I didn't hear the story, but either way, those are all 3 great quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes now is personally my favorite to hopefully stop anybody from the NFC from winning because I do not want to see either the Packers or the 49ers win this Super Bowl. My God, we'll never hear the end of it. Not to mention that, I guess on the subject of KC is just, Andy Reid, he's been snake bitten in all his postseason back with the Eagles and then with Kansas City. I'd like to see one good thing happen with that guy, and
yeah.
I just anybody but the NFC this year, please. And so at least that's my feeling. I don't know what you guys think.
So what are your guys' picks for this weekend?
Sadly, well, it's going to be the 49ers. No way the Packers are going to beat the 49ers. No way. In my mind, no way it's going to happen. And I think KC makes it. So I think it's the battle of the big red teams. It's going to be Kansas City versus the 49ers. Noah, what do you think?
Tennessee beat Kansas City earlier on in the season, and what you would think in that game, okay, if you hear Tennessee beat Kansas City, you're like, okay, they must have controlled the time of clock. They absolutely did not. They lost it by 15 minutes. It was 37-22. Tennessee didn't even have the time of possession. So I think this game is going to be really close. They dominated in terms of the run game. Kansas City's had a spotty defense. They struggle at stopping the run. It kind of, Tennessee's rolling right now. They already got over the two big walls, two big things in their way with the defending dynasty and the New England Patriots in their house in Baltimore. Tennessee's got a real shot in this game, but even though I just took it completely left, I think Kansas City gets it done. You can't argue with, 7 straight touchdowns? The way that they were able to put up 51.
Insane. That was crazy.
That's not fair. And that's why I think Kansas City's they're just going to outscore them, and they have to.
Yeah. And Tennessee is not built for a track meet. Their only chance is that they've got to somehow control the clock big time, and I just don't know if they can do it now. This team's just way too explosive. They got too many weapons.
Tannehill's still yet to pass for over 100 yards in the playoffs. That's not going to work against these guys.
Yeah, although he has been pretty good. It just hasn't had to do it yet, So
right.
Here's
the thing is that I have so many friends that are 49ers fans, and they have been texting me during the game right as we're losing, and a lot of the 49ers fans, man, they're brutal, Bang,
bang, Niner gang. Bang, bang, Niner gang.
Yeah, exactly.
So annoying.
I'm so tired of hearing it.
Oh, my God.
But seriously, I mean, it would just be the icing on the cake for them to get the Super Bowl and lose. Sorry, but I have to say it.
Get him the Rams treatment from last year, losing the Super Bowl and crash and burn the following year. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. But
hey, Norb, listen, I'm going to get going, but I just wanted to tell you that you've had just an amazing season of all your videos that you put out, and you made me laugh so hard when you did that Top Gun one with Beast Mode. That was hilarious. I just can't wait to see, how you continue with that. But you just do amazing. You're always going on, live on chats. You're doing music videos. You're just on it, and I appreciate everything you do. You make the season more fun. So,
thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you being there all the way. So it's been fun. I enjoy it, and hearing from people like you that makes it, keeps me going, because that somebody's out there appreciating it. So thank you, Jessica. And again, congratulations. I'm very proud of you. Go out there and do some good in this world. We need more people like you.
Yeah.
All right,
and
Jessica.
One last thing is that on the chat, being the moderator, is that there's a lot, sometimes the chat goes by so fast.
I know it does.
When people are just being, inappropriate, I try to hide the comment, but if it keeps on going, I'll just block them for the channel. So if anyone takes that offensively, I apologize. But it's kind of hard sometimes when people start getting, they get heated, they get pissed, and I apologize. I just don't want to, upset anybody, but yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to keep things clean around here.
I'm trying.
I appreciate it. I know.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, thank you so much, Jessica. We will talk to you soon. Go Hawks.
All right, Norb, we'll see you later. Okay,
all
bye.
right, take care. Bye-bye. All right. Well, that was cool. That was good to hear from Jessica. Yeah, let me take another one here. Let's just go through order of appearance. Let's go to the 518. What's happening? Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hey, Norb. It's Graham from New York. How you doing?
All the way from New York City. All right. Are you a Seahawks fan?
Not the city. I've been a Hawks fan for my whole life, brother. Me and my family. I'm upstate New York.
Upstate New York. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, a couple hours.
All right.
Yeah.
So what you got? What's on your mind, man?
Packers game was rough. Obviously got a lot of thoughts on it. I guess we can start with that. I'll start with Shoddy and Ken Norton. Shoddy, he was better than last year in my opinion. The thing is with him, I get we want to run the ball. We got unexperienced rookie, Travis Homer. We got beast mode, but he's more of a goal line back, and everyone thought he was going to put up massive numbers. I'm like, I get it. He's going to be great on the goal line, and as you saw, 4 touchdowns in 3 games on the goal line. Pretty darn good, but he's not going to do that great midfield in between the 20s probably. But, he was too conservative in the first half, and that really lost us the game. And the way Ken Norton handled Adams was just awful.
It was pretty bad. The question is, with our personnel, what could we have done differently with him? Is the question. It's easy to say we did terrible because the end result was clear. The challenge is, well, how do you fix it with the tools you have? What are the solutions? And I think, Noah, you offered a few suggestions on how to at least disguise things so that it's not so obvious to the quarterback what we're doing. So I think that's one thing they could have done. Same personnel, just mix it up a little bit, right?
Oh yeah, and offensively in the first half, if the injury bug just doesn't bite us so hard this year, we are starting center, 2-3 tight ends, all our running backs, all that stuff. Interesting. I kind of want to ask you guys, Norb, what are your thoughts on this? I was reading through a list of all the guys that have retired early after Kuechly retired, and Cam was on the list, Cam Chancellor, and I was thinking, okay, beast mode left and came back. What would have happened if, say, McDougald was the one that got injured? Do you think Cam would have stepped up and been willing to come back kind of like Beast Mode did if it was for a playoff run?
It's funny because at the time when Beast Mode indicated he was going to come back, there was this big chatter about Cam Chancellor coming back. Everyone's like, Cam's coming back. Do you guys see his Instagram? I went on there and it had a picture of some of his action shots, but I was like, there's nothing about him coming back. So I got kind of, boy who cried wolf for a second there, going, Cam Chancellor, he's coming back. He's coming back. I was like, nah, he never said anything about that. The thing about it is Lynch was never injured. He didn't retire due to injury. He just kind of said, I'm done. Cam Chancellor,
exactly.
His neck told him he was done. I don't think there's no coming back from something like that. At least it would take some kind of major miracle. So I wouldn't want him to anyway, because I just don't think that'd be a right idea. But no, I'd love for him to come back, but I still see that medically, physically being possible. And real quick, I just want to do a quick shout out to Jetfire97 for the super chat. It says Seahawks lost divisionals this season, lost a wild card last season, and Week 17 playoffs. Qualifying the year before that. NFC Championship next season? Maybe. Also, to Jackson DeMolke, Super Chat, 2019-2020 season going to be like 2012 to 2013, he says. And Owen Sullivan, we could legit go 16-0 next season. So I think a lot of people are feeling very optimistic about next year. And I thought last year was the 2012 and this year we do the 2013 till all the injuries happen. So I'm willing to go and say this is like 2012 and next year could be 2013. But man, we gotta fix up some things. That's for sure. We're not ready to just hop on there and go as is. We got to fix some deals. But any other questions or points you had there, Graham?
Back to Shoddy, man. I think this is one of the maybe late in the first half or early in the second. Because we scored in 3 consecutive tries. It was in the first half. We ran with Beast Mode, got 2 yards. I'm like, all right, go back to the passing game, right? And then ran it again, and then run it again. I mean, I don't know if you remember that drive. It was probably in the second quarter, I think. But
I remember.
I was physically screaming at the TV. I'm like, what are you doing, Shoddy? You're down. I think it was 14-3 at the time. You run the ball 3 times, get 2 or 3 yards. I don't understand that call at all. He's way too conservative in the first half, and you see that pattern throughout the whole year. We are way too conservative in the first half, and that needs to change. Even Russ said that in his post-game conference.
Right.
Yeah.
No argument. I don't think anyone could argue with that. And, I think I had been saying all year long, let's just try something different. Let's go 2-minute offense to start the game. Let's just see what happens, just to mix it up. I mean, what have you got to lose at that point? It's only 0-0, and, we just keep repeating that same pattern. And I would like to just see a break in the pattern because it's too predictable. We're too predictable. We got to change it up. Like you said, on the small level, play to play, be less predictable. And on the scheme and the approach to the game, be less predictable. So that should be on their New Year's resolution list. Seahawks, be less predictable. Yeah. That would go a long way, I would think. So
big time.
Yeah.
All right. So my next, I was going to go into free agency with Clowney and Jay Reed. Probably our 2 best, biggest free agents of the year, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't wait to see what Clowney can do at full health, full year. That's unseeable yet, because obviously halfway through the year he had that abdomen sports hernia injury that's very, very bad.
Well, rumor has it, from what I heard on Twitter, is that Clowney, on the final day during the locker clean-out time, he actually went up to John Schneider's office and told him how much he loved being here and wants to be here, which is all great. I'm sure there's lots of smiles and hugs and handshakes at that time, but you know what it's going to come down to. It's going to come down to Seahawks brass, his agent, sitting in a room talking about what's the price. So all that stuff is great. Maybe he really does want to be here, but if the number's not right, it's not going to work out. So the question is, what should that number be, given that he wasn't exactly, top tier rusher, but he's not a terrible player either. So, it's going to be some landing point in the middle, and hopefully they can find one. I'd like to see him back. I think he was a great disruptor, and if at full health, I think, he'd be worth bringing back.
It's going to be insane. It's going to be insane at full health. But also, after the road trip, these are the rumors I heard on Instagram and Twitter. After the road trip, he came home, put his stuff down, and went up to John Snyder and said, thanks for the season and all that. And after the locker clean out, he did it a second time. That's what I heard as well.
Oh, 2 times.
And went up to him and said more, and I love Seattle and all that. That's what I heard twice, 2 different days. But the thing is, the money, we have 65 mil cap space, which is insane for a playoff team. Insane. But he's probably going to want 20 to 25 around there. I mean, what do you guys think he's going to want?
Oh, I'm sure he's going to want that. What he can get might be a totally different thing, right, Noah?
No, he's going to ask for top dollar. We can't give him top dollar. And while he said he left Seattle, all that stuff is great. Like you guys said, he wants his money. But I remember listening to his press conference and seeing what he's talking about. He wants to win. And I feel like what Seattle needs to do is make a move that's going to solidify that defensive line before it, if possible. Find somebody out there, re-sign Jay Reed, let him know that this is going to be a very competitive roster heading into next season. Let him know that we're going to take our best swing at it, and then offer him. We have to at least pretty much match most other teams that are competitive on the market. If like a Houston, for example, wanted him back, or Indianapolis or whatever, if any other team offers him 20 mil, I don't think we can do 20 mil. I'd say 15 to 18, somewhere in there would be affordable for a guy like Jadeveon, just because of his impact. But I feel like in order to get him to take a pay cut, which would be best for everyone except for Jadeveon, of course, but in terms of our competitiveness, in order to get him to take a pay cut, we got to really show him that we're down to rock for this season by making some sort of splash before we can re-sign him this offseason.
I'm sure his agent, probably when his agent heard, he went up to John Schneider's office and told him how badly he wanted to be here. He's like, shh, quiet, man. You're like messing up my negotiation leverage here. We want to make you sound like you don't want to be here. So they'll be like, please, Cloudy, stay, please. But it's all going to come down to numbers. But you'd love to be a fly on the wall, wouldn't you, during one of these negotiations? I'd love to just sit on the wall and just hear it going back and forth, the stalemate, the talk. What happens in those rooms would be so much fun to know what goes on during those negotiations. But we'll find out soon enough in about, 2 months? Isn't the free agent deadline? When do we have to have those? It's in March, isn't it? March something?
April. Yeah, or March, yeah.
2 months from now?
It's March.
Let's go. Wait a minute. Yeah, it's January right now, right? Yeah. So, we'll see.
I mean... Yeah, I got one more question. I was looking at
last one.
In Jay Reed. Yeah, I was looking at a lot of things in Jay Reed, and people are saying, he was a little off that 6-game suspension, wasn't his best, and everyone wouldn't be like top tier when they come off a suspension like that. But do you think we sign him to a 1-year show it all deal, or do you think we sign him 2, 3, 4 years, and we actually trust him? I trust him, but people are saying we sign him to a 1-year, see what you got deal kind of thing, and work your way for another one.
The thing is, that's great for us to do a 1-year deal, but nobody wants to sign a 1-year deal. They want that long-term contract. They know that they're renewable contract numbers. They only get so many each time, because what happens if he gets injured? And then he's screwed. For the next 2 years if he gets hurt in the 1 year. So I don't know who would go for that. Right now he hasn't had a great year though. So I don't know. What do you think, Noah? It's not a great leverage position.
We got to sign him. He knows our system. He knows what we want to do. We've seen him do great things before. This year, it wasn't just him that struggled. A lot of our guys struggled. We've got to improve how we scheme it up as well. We saw a very key play on the final drive with Green Bay where Jadeveon Clowney did a phenomenal move. It was a great call defensively. It was a defensive line swap. The inside went outside and Jadeveon went inside, forced Aaron Rodgers to throw an incompletion, which led to the third down that they ended up converting. But on that second down, that's the type of thing that we have to do to set these guys up. It's not about their one-on-one abilities. Jerron Reed is as good as we're going to get. And he's so young. He's got room for improvement. He knows our system. He's a guy that we drafted. He's a real hard-nosed player. He's in a position where it's not fun. It's not easy being down there all the time because you're going to be at the bottom of a dog pile. He's the type of guy that I want in my foxhole with me. I feel like he's a Seattle guy through and through.
All right, there you go. All right, Graham, thank you very much for the call, man. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, guys. Go Hawks.
All right, go Hawks. All right, let's keep this going. Let me go down to the 408. What's up? Who's this and where are you calling from? Hello? Okay.
Hello?
Oh, you're there. Yes, who's this?
Hey, NorbCam, this is Jacob.
Jacob? All right, and where are you from?
Yes. Bay Area, California.
Okay. All right, but you're a Seahawks fan?
Yes.
Okay. All right, what's your question, man? What do you got, Jacob?
I just wanted to talk about how do you, what thing or which free agents do you think we should pick up other than Clowney and Reed?
Oh, other free agent we need to pick up. No, I'm going to defer to you because you're kind of like my personnel expert on this stuff. Who do you think? Who's besides our own? Who do we need to pick up? Or is there someone else we got to pick up that's even on our own?
Norb, excellent question. I actually have this prepared for my show this week, and I have 3 guys highlighted that I really think Seattle should go after.
Do share.
These are veteran guys at positions where we have some young talent that just, for one reason or another, it hasn't been working out. So the one guy, I highlighted him earlier, Bradley Roby, cornerback, used to be in Denver, now he's in Houston. I'd like to get him. Another guy, Logan Ryan for Tennessee. That's another corner. He's been around the league. He's seen a lot of defenses, a lot of offenses. He could help the IQ of our secondary. But the number one guy that I think would help our offense on the other side, because I already have the 2 defensive. I think we should focus on those 2 corners, solidify our secondary. But offensively, I think it's time with Germain Ifedi, either move him in or move him out, because he's leading the team in penalties once again. Brian Bulaga is a free agent, and I would love to see him in Seattle. Let's solidify the right side of our line. Let's not have the most penalized right tackle in football practically. And, on so many key situations, he has set us back. And this year, I was pretty impressed with our ability to convert 3rd and 14s, 3rd and 15s, other 3rd and long scenarios, and 2nd and long after having to deal with it. But we shouldn't have to deal with it in the first place, and a lot of it was because of Germain Ifedi. I feel like we can move him inside. He's a big guy. We got some guys that couldn't stay healthy in there. Germain Ifedi has at least stayed healthy. What if we moved him to left guard? He wouldn't have so much room, so he wouldn't be getting so many penalties. He'd have 2 guys on either side, so he'd be less likely to false start. He could just wait for them or whatnot. And he's also the guy, oftentimes you'll see quarterbacks don't even use the sound. They'll just be like, okay, you snap it. I'll tell the guard when I'm ready for the snap, and he'll tap you on the leg, and that just means snap it as soon as you're ready. And the quarterback will just wait there for the ball. They'll snap it, and everyone else is just watching the ball. The ball is hiked, and the play continues. That's one of those things where Germain Ifedi could be the guy telling the center to snap the ball. He'll be closer to it. He'll have his eyes on it, less likely to get false starts. I think Brian Bulaga would be a major addition to our offensive line.
Ooh, I like that breakdown. I do like the idea of Ifedi on the inside. Less holding calls as well. So take away the holding call. You're less likely to hold when you're on the interior guard position. And When you're the guy tapping the dude in the leg, you can't possibly false start, right? It's like impossible. You're the one saying, okay, we're ready. So he wouldn't have any false start. That's a brilliant idea. Brilliant idea.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
And I feel like another good on a veteran on a cornerback would be Chris Harris. Because he's gonna be a free agent this year, but I'm not sure how much like he wants to get paid. Maybe we have enough cap with signing Clowney and John Reed.
Yeah, I looked at Harris as well, and he would be a big addition for us in terms of the IQ factor. The reason I kind of went away from him, all the corners that I pointed out, Roby didn't have the best year. He had more interceptions than Harris, though, and then Ryan didn't have the best year. But the thing that it didn't really fit the Seattle mold with Chris Harris was the fact that he's not that big. Seattle likes those lengthy guys, Trey Flowers, Logan Ryan, Bradley Roby, they're both 5'11". Chris Harris is a short little guy. I don't think Pete Carroll wants someone of his stature necessarily going one-on-one with guys like Michael Thomas. Even within our division, it's not exactly what we're looking for.
All right, Jacob, thank you for the call, man. I appreciate it, and go Hawks. Let's go to our next caller over from the 605. What's up? Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Aiden from Sioux Falls.
Aiden from Sioux Falls. All right. What's on your mind, Aiden?
Well, the Seahawks game was disappointing, but I got to give credit to the Packers.
Oh, yeah. That's
Russell
true.
Russell played good.
Russell was outstanding once they turned him loose in the second half. I agree. He, if he was in a race and you gave the other guy half a lap to start, and then he had to catch up, he almost caught up at the end of the race. So yeah, that was pretty impressive. What was that sound? It sounded like you're playing like a wind-up toy or something. Was that you? Anyway, this is Aiden. This is AKA Kathleen Burgess in the chat, right?
Yep.
Okay. Haven't heard from you in a while. How you doing, man?
Yeah. The Niners will play the Packers. Yep. The Niners are winning.
The Niners are going to win it. I'm pretty convinced the Niners are going to win this game, too. Packers were pretty banged up, too, after they played us, which doesn't help their cause.
The Niners fans can be watching it. Yep.
Niners fans are going to be super obnoxious for a while until they lose. So hopefully that happens
sooner than later.
Sooner than later, as in the biggest stage possible. But we'll see what happens. All right. You got anything else? You got another question?
Yep.
What you got? You got one more.
The Niners will win Super Bowl 54. Speaking of a Niners fan, he's going to be watching. He's funny, though.
Who, me? Talking about this 49 fan? Damn right I'm going to be watching.
Speaking about Chris
That's right. Number 1, baby. Number 1, ring number 6. 6. Slide, don't you put a ring on it.
Number 6.
Put a ring on it. Yeah,
that's just, not good. Not good.
Yeah,
but he's going to have his own section.
They make the Super Bowl, so they have to pay everybody.
Yeah. Eventually they will. They're a well-built team, though. They drafted, they had like 5 years to rebuild this sucker. So I would like to think by that, in 5 years, you put together a pretty good team. But yeah, they reconstructed this team pretty well. So,
yeah,
I hate to admit it, they're pretty solid.
When you have like the third, the second, and the third pick, it's not that difficult.
Yes, that's right. It's one of the benefits of being down the bottom for a long time. You get to pick from the top of the pile. It's kind of tough,
right.
When you're always on top, making the playoffs year after year. It's just challenging because you don't get those draft pick choices like the losers do. Just saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, All right, Aiden. Well, thanks for the call, man. I'm gonna keep this train rolling. I appreciate it, bro.
Yep.
All right, go Hawks. All right, let's go to Robert Smith from the 804. Robert, what's on your mind, bro? Hello, you're on with NorbCam and Noah.
What's good with y'all?
Not much.
So, one thing I want to say is, like, I saw an article yesterday on Facebook, and it was saying Pete Carroll said that he doesn't really see any coaching staff changes, and I really think that, like, the longer we keep Brian Schottenheimer, we're just not going to do anything in the playoffs for real. His scheme is really, it's not creative at all. It's really, all the plays we make, you see our players make, it's 100% on the players. They don't get no help from the coach in drawing up ways to get people open. Like you see how Kyle Shanahan, like when they play us, you see George Kittle wide open, Deebo Samuel getting on the corner with a whole bunch of blockers and stuff like that. But for our players, it's literally go straight up the field, either beat your man or either catch the jump ball, DK. That's literally what it is. Sure. We don't have any creativity, and it's holding us back because when we play, one thing, like, we matched up well against the Eagles because they were trying to play us with man corners, and their corners couldn't cover us. But once we got to Green Bay, when they were playing zone, Russell had nowhere to throw, and a lot of people were criticizing him for holding the ball too long. But he really can't throw it to nobody because the plays we run, they're not made to, like, you know, beat any types of zones, like no types of cover 2, 3, 4, 6, nothing
also,
like that. Really
also, we only had 2 receivers out there, and they had like 7 guys in coverage and only 4 men rushing. So you got to have a solution for that.
In the third or second quarter, where we had ran out of a single back. Marshawn Lynch, he ran like a swing route, and then DK and Tyler Lockett, all they did was just go straight up the field. I'm like, how easy are you trying to make it for them to defend us? Like, what are you doing? Like, the defense, all they had to do was just worry about DK and Tyler Lockett just going straight up the field. Like, there's literally no creativity to that. You're making it hard on your players. And Brian Schottenheimer, he's the same reason the Jets never went to a Super Bowl. And I'm like, why do we hold on to garbage? But we had no reason getting rid of Sherm, Earl, and what's other dude's name we got rid of? Sherm and Earl. Did we get rid of anybody?
Michael Bennett? Michael Bennett?
Michael Bennett, too. We didn't have no reason getting away from them who you know, gave us great production, but we'll hold on to Brian Schottenheimer. We'll hold on to Jermaine Ifedi. We'll hold on to, like, all these dudes who just cost us over and over and over again. It's so frustrating watching us play because we can literally beat anybody we play, but we always shoot ourselves in the foot. And not only that, coaching staff, like our coordinators, I think they're holding us back too a lot. And I think people really want Ken Norton going, but I'd rather have Brian Schottenheimer going because I'd rather have at least our offense be able to just, like, you know, do what Kansas City do, can just outscore, you know, can just go out there and score points. I'd rather them be able to put up points on the board rather than having to fight back when your defense already is allowing a lot of points. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't know. I feel more like the defense was more of the problem with this team. Offensively, we were doing pretty well up until the point that we lost all our running backs. I mean, that was a pretty major blow to the end of the season and into our playoff run here. But but we got to adjust. And obviously, losing all your running backs, we tried to adjust with the best we can. But yeah, I just agree that we just needed to be a little more creative and just play like the second half instead of the first half. They should just take in whatever they had, take the first half game plan, throw it in the garbage, take the second half game plan, just go copy paste, and let's do that in the first quarter. I think we would have been a heck of a lot better using what we already had because, you know, that's seeming to work.
And then when you think about it, so like people who play football know, especially if you're a defensive player, when your offense isn't doing anything at all, it makes it really hard for you to continue to go out there and stop people. Because imagine if our offense goes out there and starts scoring points, it might not be as bad. Because to be honest, our defense, we do allow a lot of yards.
Oh yeah.
We allow a lot of yards and maybe a few big plays, but when it's time for them to step up, they step up, you know. And they'll have, like, you know, halves and quarters where they play really good, where they'll make their stops. But, you know, we just like last year, it was too late. We didn't do enough. We shot ourselves in the foot, and we couldn't come back enough. We just too much to overcome, you know. And we got to stop doing that because we done lost 2 playoff games we could have easily won. We was beating the Cowboys last year after halftime and still lost.
Yeah.
And this year, we just had too much to come back from. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm really mad at Ugo. Really mad at him. You learn in high school, never ever come up to the line if you're not going to press. Never ever do that. You learn that in high school.
What did you play? You obviously were a football player. What did you play?
I played everything on defensive line.
Oh, you're a defensive lineman?
When I was in rec league, when I was young, like 7, 8 years old, I was a corner. But once I got to high school, I played everything on D-line.
I was a corner. I played several positions, but I was a corner. And I'll never forget jumping the slant route. I was going to be clever and jump it and pick it off, and whoops, double moved on me. Touchdown. So, yeah, those corners got to play smart. You got to be physical. But all right, man. Well, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. It sounds like there's a drummer, a metronome in your headphones or something. But hopefully we get that problem rectified. But hey, man, I appreciate the call, and hopefully next year we get things fixed. Go Hawks, man. Thanks for the call. All right, go Hawks. All right. Oh, man. What the heck was that about? Like, holy cow.
I'm not going to speak on it.
Oh, man. All right, we're going to keep this train running. I'm trying to pick up the pace just because, I got a lot of callers still standing by and don't want to leave them hanging for too long. All right, Lucas from Louisiana. Lucas, you're on with NorbCam and Noah. What's up?
Hey, what's up?
What's up? What's on your mind, Lucas?
Well, first things first, great game between Green Bay and Seattle. Seattle played their heart out. But I think they were just too conservative in the first half, and that really killed them.
Right. Agreed. That's kind of been the theme. I think everybody's been wondering about it. Like, what happened? Why not show up in the first half? Again, I think there's a philosophy problem with Pete Carroll's "Can you win the game in the first quarter?" chant. You believe that too hard, that also means that you may not try in the first quarter because you're figuring, we'll win it in the fourth quarter. We don't need to win in the first quarter. You can win in the first quarter if you get ahead far enough. Anyway, I digress. What else you got? Yep, too conservative in the beginning.
And about free agency, some corners. Byron Jones is going to be a corner. I think he's going to be a free agent. I think he may be a good addition.
Byron Jones?
Mm-hmm.
Noah, thoughts?
That of course he'd be a good fit in terms of how he plays the position. I think he'll be a little bit too expensive though for us. We're not looking for a cornerback one. I think we kind of have our guy in Shaquille. But in terms of like his impact, if we were to get him for some form of good deal, I'd love to bring him on. He's absolutely, he does the job. And in our system especially, we could have him pressing, have Quandre Diggs behind to hit anybody that gets past him. I like the fit.
All right. What else you got?
Some, like you guys were saying, their offensive line issues. I don't know about what are the free agent offensive line? I don't know.
Brian Bulaga was one of the names that I was looking at. We talked about him earlier. I got the website right here. Let me pull that up of all the
that would be good.
Free agents. It looks like offensive line. I mean, there were a lot of interior offensive line. Like Ronald Leary is available. Anthony Costanzo, exterior offensive line. Anthony Costanzo. One name that within the division, I'm pretty excited that he's going to be a free agent. I've been waiting for this one. Andrew Whitworth is finally a free agent from the Rams.
Right. Ooh. Yes.
Ryan Khalil is a free agent. That's the center. He was on the Jets this year. That'd be pretty big, but that only if we wanted to move off of a guy like Britt. But I don't see us doing that just because he got injured. And I don't see us moving Ryan Khalil to the guard position either, so I wouldn't go there. I looked down the list, and the number one guy I saw was really Brian Bulaga. I know he's had some injury history, but if things were to go down and he were to get hurt, we could put Jermaine Ifedi back at right tackle. It's just I feel like having a more veteran player out there that can really hold his ground would do wonders for Russell Wilson. We saw what happened when we did that to the left tackle spot. It protected him, and the whole point is because of how it's the blind side of the quarterback. Well, we just saw in the past game 2 key plays, Norb pointed it out, where Russell Wilson couldn't see the blitzer coming from the right. They got around Ifedi and Hollister on the one play, and Ifedi on the other play, and that's just unacceptable. You can't have it. You need your tackles to really be firm out there and protect your quarterback from those hits coming from the side that you can't see. That's a big issue that we've had all season long. So I'd say Bulaga is definitely the number 1 target. But if we could just bring in another tackle, that'd be really helpful.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for the call. We're going to go on to another one here, the 253. What's up? You're on with Norb and Noah. Who's this?
This is Ethan. I'm from Kent, so like 40 minutes
down the
Seattle.
street. You're like down the street from me.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I probably ran into you at the mall or something. What's up, man? What's on your mind?
Exactly. So I was wondering, so maybe I'm just not like up to date on all the news or anything, but I was wondering what your thought was on the future of Beast Mode. Where is he? Any chance of him staying around? Should we sign him again? Like, what's the future of that?
I'm glad you brought that up, Ethan from Kent, because I actually did read something on Twitter about this that they asked about him. Of course, he was very sort of we'll see type of answer, but there is this, I think, possibility of keeping Marshawn Lynch on as sort of in a specialized role. And I don't know what that means, if that means like not active throughout the year, but maybe like what they did this year, bring him in at the end of the season to kind of be like that short yardage gain type of guy. I don't know if there's truth to that, but I kind of like that idea. I like the idea of they make a position called the 1 yard line guy, the 1 yard line back.
Yeah.
And they just bring him in for that because so far he's been doing pretty good at that point. And I don't know. Noah, what do you think? What do you think about the idea of bringing Lynch back?
Some way that as long as he can stay in shape by working out with the team, every game he was back, he had at least 1 touchdown. That's big time. That really is. I give him a lot of credit. The run he had against the Eagles, phenomenal. How he was just shedding off defenders. The second effort, it motivates the locker room. I would love to see him stick around. He clearly still has some football left in the tank.
Maybe it could be like a running back assistant coach / player. Who like coaches and just there for inspiration and just to have his presence, and then he just kind of every once in a while suits up and gets in there. I don't know if they can do that, but that would be kind of cool. Because I wouldn't want to expend an entire roster spot the entire year for him, but I could see him just in a very specialized role, and plus it's so much fun having him here. Seeing him on the mic, isn't that weird? Just seeing him actually talking to the press, answering questions, talking about y'all chickens and your mentals and your. I love that. If you guys haven't heard that, I got to post that up because that interview press conference he did was so good, and it's just so weird to actually see him answering questions and stuff. It's a whole new beast mode, but it's fun to have him on the team. That's why it's so disappointing that we didn't get one more game with him because it's just fun to watch on the field and off.
And with to your point, Norb, I feel like a way that we could like make it work. This would take an NFL adjustment, but just they should consider this. Check this out. What if we were allowed to have like 53 men consistently, but the 53 wasn't the same when you're in the red zone. So like whenever we're in the back 80, we got like a running back that can go catch passes or shows up to practice all the week and does the work for Marshawn. And then just whenever we're in the red zone, Marshawn's back to being a Seahawk.
I like that. Yeah, it's a 53 with a swing player. It's just sort of, kind of thrown in there like a last-minute substitution.
Situational.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah, we'll see. I think he does have more gas in the tank, so we'll keep an eye on that situation. It's fun, though.
Definitely.
It's funny. What else you got, Ethan? You got something else?
Yeah, so I had one more question for you.
Yeah, shoot.
I was curious. So every player has their time in the NFL, and their time, eventually comes to an end. And Russell Wilson's been in the league for a few years now. I was curious, do you think how long do you think we have left with him? Is he a couple years and gone? Do we have, another 5-10 years left in him, or?
Well, if you ask Russell, he says he's going to play till like he's 50. But I think that's what makes this loss and every loss that we have where we didn't make it to the Super Bowl disappointing. Because if you think about it, it's like if you, I don't know, for you guys are probably too young to know this, but back in the days when they had arcades, you had to pay quarters to go in there. You go to like an Asteroids machine, and you'd put your quarters up there to mark your spot, right? So imagine Russell Wilson's career is each season is marked by how many quarters that you have left up on top, of how many games you got left with those quarters. And every time a season comes to an end, you take a quarter down, and you're one more quarter to there's no more quarters left, and you're done playing. I mean, that's every player has that in their career, right? And the question is how many quarters are up there, and these guys are retiring younger and younger. But I think Russell Wilson, given his what he's been able to do and keep healthy, I think he can easily play into his 40s. And he might be one of those guys that might play till he's 45 and might still actually be productive doing it. So, but I'd like to say at least to what Brady's doing. What, Brady's 43, right? 43 years old? All right, so I'm going to say here that Wilson plays and stays a Seahawk till at least 43. That means we got him for at least another, 10, 11 years? How old is he now? 31? 32?
Yeah, that's age is but a number. But with Russell Wilson, the one thing that we know about him, if nothing else, he is a pioneer. I believe with the way that he's so smart. I was listening to Ed Reed after the Ravens season was over, and Ed Reed was speaking about Lamar Jackson and what he needs to work on. And the number one thing, a wise old man, OG, if you will, for the Ravens, a wise veteran former player said that what a lot of other people have said about Lamar Jackson is it's that he needs to learn from Russell with how smart he is with protecting his body. Let me tell you, at Green Bay, Russell Wilson was not smart with his body, but it was because he was putting it on the line for the team. He's not going to run that much. We've seen him avoid running all season long when we actually had a run game, but we didn't have a run game, and we needed him to run the football. That's why he was doing it. He took a lot of shots last game, but we don't see that very often, at least outside of the pocket. In the pocket's a different story. We protect that by bringing in Brian Bulaga. But in terms of just Russell Wilson, I feel like he's not even halfway through his career. He's a pioneer. He's going to stay longer than most. He's already proven people wrong by being the short guy at the position. He's a very stocky fellow. He's big. He's not as light as he once was. At least he doesn't look like it, and that's helping him with all the beatings that he's taken sometimes with this offensive line. So I think he's got a long ways to go. I don't think he's even halfway there.
One of the guys in the chat, Gibster, says Russ is 31, so he's going to play for 12 more years. 12 minimum. So there you go. Got 12 more years, 12 more quarters up on the Asteroids machine. So I'm happy with that. All right, Ethan. Well, thanks for the call, man. I appreciate it. I'll catch you at Kent Station sometime.
I love watching your videos. Keep doing what you're doing. I know you wanted to speed this up, so.
Okay. All right,
I'll
man.
Catch you later, man.
I'll see you at the mall, South Center, Kent Station. I was just there watching a movie, 1917, awesome film. That's another discussion for another time. All right, man. Take care, Ethan. Go Hawks.
All right.
All right. So many callers. Okay. Almost been waiting for an hour. Got to go to Ryan in Michigan. Ryan, what's up? You're on with Norb and Noah.
I got a quick question. I got a couple questions for you guys. Since Josh Gordon didn't work out, did we bring Antonio Brown in?
I've heard a lot of people saying that after Josh Gordon got suspended. The time to reach out to Antonio Brown. I don't know, man. That just scares me, man. I just think about the one thing we did not have, despite all of our challenges, no locker room issues. Not one. Nothing talked about that the personnel, something going on where there was tension in the locker room. And I feel like you bring Antonio Brown into your locker room, you're just asking for a heap of internal trouble. Well, that's, he's a great talent, but I don't know if he's worth the potential, messing up with the chemistry, What do you think, Noah?
Honestly, what he has done to himself, he's done. There's the reference that I want to say. He's potentially doing like suicide by cop with the NFL and his life in the NFL. He's basically doing everything he can to make the NFL cut him off without actually removing himself from the NFL. All these tweets, posting about after the playoff game, the wild card round of the playoffs, all the teams that were connected to him got eliminated. He's agonizing the teams. I don't know if you guys heard about the whole video with the police. Norb, if you heard about that, what's going on, how he was yelling vulgar language in front of his children. A lot of people are speaking against it. I disagree with how he handled it. He's yelling insulting words to the mother of his children in front of his children and the police. He's antagonizing the police, and they're not even responding. It's absolutely disgraceful what he's turned to. If there was hope back in the day, earlier on in this season, that Antonio Brown would at least be back this year, or if Seattle could pick him up, should we? There was hope that potentially I would have said yes. But now, after all this, he is a downward spiraling ship. It's no good. His mind is clearly not in the right state that it needs to be for the NFL.
Yeah, I saw that video of him chewing out the cops when they came to his house. It's just like, man, some guys are just they don't know how to stay out of trouble. They create and bring it on. It's like, oh, trouble's around the corner. Well, let's just bring it over here. Instead of like getting away from it, they will walk into it and like throw themselves into it
and record it.
And record it. Share for everybody
else. I got more questions for you guys.
Yeah,
I also think that Cam Newton's going to be a backup quarterback for the Seahawks. Get signed.
Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Well, I did hear the possibility that he might be leaving the Panthers and could be out there as a free agent. I'm completely happy with our backup quarterback right now because one, you never have to. Most people won't even remember his name. In fact, I'm forgetting it right now. But two, he does. We don't need one, and we don't need the distraction. He's not going to be a backup quarterback. No, he's going to be a starting quarterback.
Who do you think we're going to get in the draft?
What's that?
We're going to
do in the draft. Noah, you're more of a draft expert than me.
Oh, in terms of like to fill in and to help us out in anybody, or are you talking about like a backup quarterback?
Anybody in general.
Oh, so who will be our first pick in the draft? In other words, what's our biggest need come draft time? What will we be picking for? I think position-wise. Are we getting a defensive lineman? Are we getting an offensive lineman? Are we getting a cornerback? What do we need the most?
No question about it. We have to go in terms of defensive backs. I think we got to go corner first. If we can't get anyone in free agency, of course. I listed some guys earlier. I think a veteran would be best if we can get that first. But we keep striking out on defensive linemen. We have running backs. We have. If we want to go offensive line, I'm totally down. But I think a cornerback would be best. And honestly, we always trade back. It wouldn't be till the end of the second round. So it's not going to be a top guy. Just give us somebody that's lengthy, that can fit within our system. The biggest thing that we need to fix, though, it's not the talent that we have. I do believe it is the scheming.
What is the future for Robert Turbin?
What was the present for Robert Turbin? Robert Turbin, did he actually show up?
The future.
That was one of those stories that, like, I didn't want to bring it up just because I felt bad about it. Just because, like, he comes back. I listened to his entire press conference about how excited he is to be back.
So emotionally inspiring, and just to see him not do anything.
I was like, I didn't have the press conference that he had, but I did just as much for the Seahawks on that playoff run, and that's what's unfortunate about that whole situation. I don't think he has a future. He was out of football when we picked him up, and then we didn't even use him. I hate to say it, but I think he's done.
Yeah.
And Norm, I think you should do a giveaway on your YouTube channel.
Okay. I think I will do that, actually. That'll be something for me to do in the off season. I do have some stuff that I need to I know. We'll do a 40K giveaway when I get to 40,000 subscribers, which I'm dangerously close because I'm going to be like at 37 shortly. So sometime this year, I'm thinking.
I want to see you get reach to 1 million. I want to see you get to 1 million.
Well, 1 million, I'm going to be throwing one hell of a party if I get to 1 million subscribers. If I get to 40, I'll like give out a over the hill NorbCam cup or something. No, I'll come up with something cool. But
hey, Norb, keep up what you're doing. I like your videos and everything. Keep up what you're doing.
Ryan, I appreciate that, man. Thanks for the call, and go Hawks. All right. Okay, I've got to get this guy on here. He's one of my biggest fans. He lives out in Yakima, where they're probably gotten a ton of snow. And he's been standing by, and we had this deal going on where we were going to, if the Seahawks won the Super Bowl, he was going to come out here to my neck of the woods, and we were going to go have the Mizuki all-you-can-eat buffet together. And, doggone it, didn't work out. But let me bring on Anthony D. Anthony, what's up?
Noah, my buddy, it's been a while, finally.
It has been a while, man. What have you been up to? Life treating you good?
Yeah, well, for starters, I'm looking for a new job because I got fired because I didn't go to work on Christmas.
Oh. Well, you got Scrooge? Is Mr. Scrooge your boss? That sucks.
Well, I started work around the summer, and slowly, they knew that I was autistic because one of my job coaches from the place that helps special needs people like me told them, and they've been bringing my hours down. And for the past November, they've been having me work 2 to 6 hours a week.
Oh. But then the issue was you didn't work on Christmas, so you got fired for that?
Yeah, well, I didn't work. I did not work the week before Christmas, and my stepmom noticed that, and she wasn't happy about that, and she wasn't happy the fact that I had to work on Christmas. So she told me not to go and told me to just find a new job.
Oh, so then you woke up the day after Christmas with a pink slip in your stocking. That's worse than a lump of coal, man. I'm sorry, man.
I did not wake up with a pink slip. She told me to call my work, see if I'm still on the job. What my boss told me is, you did not come to work the day you were supposed to come to work, so you're going to have to find a new job. And I said, oh, okay, fine.
I'm sorry about that, man. And if you guys didn't know that Noah and NorbCam are opening up our consultation counseling business. So if you have any troubles in your life, we'd be happy to listen and give our advice in addition to any draft pick questions you may have. So Anthony, oh, sorry, man. That doesn't sound good, but, and then so you get that, and then the Seahawks lose, and our dreams of going to Mizuki Buffet go right down the toilet. Talk about a horrible start to the New Year's.
I am not happy.
I mean, losing your job is one thing, but losing the opportunity to go to buffet with me at Mizuki Buffet, freaking unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Freaking bold, dude.
Somebody's got to pay. Maybe it's Schottenheimer, maybe it's Norton, but someone's got to pay for this tragic situation.
Where are you, you little punk?
I'm not paying for nothing. I didn't do anything. You guys did it to yourselves. All I know is we just kicking butt, taking names. See you at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, taking my friend's daughter, you little punk.
I think he's gone. Don't worry, I'll take care of him. You guys enjoying my little NorbCam series with the mystery of the missing daughter? I think I'm...
I like that. You know what? I don't know if you have anything planned for our next one, but if the 49ers do win, which I kind of hope they don't win, but if they do win, we should make a sketch, you and I, even though I live in Yakima. I will help you find your daughter by phone and on a pretend computer thing, and when all hope seems to... in a good way, Crisosimo came out of nowhere and steals the Lombardi trophy, and he heads out in thin air.
Well, that sounds that's out there, man, but very creative. You might have an idea there. I might have to figure out some way to work you in on a phone call to help track my missing daughter down. But you got my wheels turning. So, all right. So well,
I would love to be a part of it.
All right, I will think about it because I think I struck gold with this thing. I'm gonna keep milking the missing daughter thing for a while and keep seeing how far I can take it. My daughter's like, "When am I gonna be in the movie? All I see is my picture in there." When do I get to kick somebody's ass?
An excellent series, though.
Oh, it's the best is yet to come. I got lots of little twists coming, but anyway. So I got a lot of people dying to talk Seahawks. So Anthony, do you have a Seahawks question in here, by chance?
Well, I was gonna ask you about beast mode, but people stole it from me, and you answered.
Oh, we did. Best we could.
We also do consultation.
All right, so anybody who lives in the Yakima area, if you have a job opening, Anthony D is looking for a job. Contact NorbCam at NorbCam.com, and we'll get your resume out there. No, sorry, man. I'm sorry to hear that. But I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what, though. If you're, I'll tell you what. If you're ever out here again, we won't wait till winning the Super Bowl to do the Mizuki Buffet. You find your way out this direction, and we'll go meet up at the Mizuki Buffet anyway. So you let me know when you're in town again.
A few months ago in the city.
There's what?
Hello?
Yeah, what'd you say? I'm sorry, I missed that. There was a what?
Okay, there's a new buffet. There's a new seafood buffet called Minadu Buffet, I think.
Uh-huh.
I haven't checked it out, but I did see some pictures of it.
In Yakima or in the Seattle area?
Yakima.
Oh, okay. Problem is, I don't get out to Yakima very often, but if I do, I know the guy who's out there now. So
well, if you come into Yakima, let me know. I want to hang out with you, brother.
All right, man. Well, I'm gonna have to get to some other callers here, but man, good luck with finding your next job. Right. And buffet, and Mizuki or other. We'll keep one in mind.
And before we leave, everybody listening, if you don't know me, go to my YouTube channel called Anthony D, or go to my Instagram, official Anthony D, or my Twitter, Anthony D Music 98. Follow me if you got any job stuff, whatnot in the Yakima area. Please help me. I seriously need a job. Plus, stay tuned for a very special project I'm cooking up. It's taken a while. I think Norm knows what I'm talking about, but I'm going to keep it as a secret. But I have a very special project.
I'm waiting for it to launch, man.
Artist.
I'm waiting for it.
Please stay tuned and subscribe and whatnot. And Norm, thank you for taking my call. It's been a while. And I don't know what's going on with your number, but it worked finally.
Oh, yay. Okay, good. All right. Well, good to hear from you, man. Good luck with the job search and everything, and we'll talk to you soon, all right?
You too. Hawks. Thanks, Noah.
All right. Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
All righty. Let's go to Martha Collins from the 206. Is this really a female, or is this a guy with a caller ID with Martha? Is this Martha?
Sorry, that's my mom's.
Okay. I was like, you sound like you have an awfully deep voice for Martha. Yeah, my name's Martha. Martha Stewart.
Yeah.
I'm here to talk about some home furnishings.
Sorry.
All right, Martha. Oh, what's your real name then?
No. Christian. Yeah, my real name's Christian.
All right, Christian. What you got, man? What's on your mind?
All right, so I know we had a good season. We had a little playoff run. Didn't really have high hopes for that. But next year, who do you think are going to be the top 3 breakout players for the Seahawks?
Ooh. No, I'm going to let you take this one.
Next year, who are going to be the top 3 players for the Seahawks? I feel like, defensively, a guy that I am really excited to see what his next steps are. There's 2 guys. One of them, he was a rookie this year, Cody Barton. I feel like as the season went on, he got better. His pass coverage improved. We saw some improved situations there against Green Bay where he was playing defense on the pass. He made tackles as soon as they could be made. He improved throughout the season. He wants to be coached. He has the greatest mentality. He's a Seahawk for a long time, in my opinion. I think that's a big piece. I think Rasheem Green really stepped up with his role this year, and I think he's going to be a big improver next season as well. He's done a nice job. He's like a Frank Clark to me. He's the next Frank Clark. I feel like with the way that he was able to improve from year 1 to year 2, and how he's done such a nice job of getting to the quarterback when we needed him. He made some big plays. And then in terms of our secondary, there's 2 guys that I look at that could have big roles: Marquise Blair as well as Ugo Amadi. Amadi got more playtime late. Blair got some playtime early, had to deal with an injury. I'd say between those 2, Marquise Blair has the highest upside, but Ugo Amadi is there right now. And so that's why I'd say Ugo Amadi's going to have a bigger impact next season because he also plays special teams and covers so well. Ricardo Lockett used to do that so well for us, and since then we haven't had the same level of coverage on punt, and that's actually a really big factor that we've struggled with. Shaquem, we see him running down there sometimes. I'd like to see Ugo keep running down there. He's been the first guy what are
DK's estimated stats
next year?
I'm saying 12K yards. Or 1,200.
1,200.
That's a big jump.
Yeah. I could see DK potentially like breaking 1,000. I don't know about 1,200. Just because of how
I think if we drafted
offense.
line, maybe. So Russ could have more time.
Well, I definitely agree with that statement. Russell Wilson needs more time. And the bond between DK and Wilson is only going to get better. I feel like he definitely has the potential to do 1,200. And it's not going to be because he is unable to. It's going to be because we finally get Will Dissly back. And we have our blocking. All of our blockers are back. And Mike Iupati's going to be healthy going into next year if we have him, whoever we have, Justin Britt could be back on the offensive line. All these pieces, we're going to want to reestablish the run. We're not going to start off slinging the football. Unless we changed our offensive coordinator, I don't see one of our wide receivers getting more than 1,200 yards.
What about John Ursula,
Yeah, I think we need to get rid of Affetti, too.
Or
move really bad.
Or move him. You had the idea of not getting rid of him, but moving him.
Left guard, yeah.
But what about John Ursula, man? I had been keeping my fingers crossed that John Ursula would have a bigger role at some point this year, and it just never happened. Kind of like Marquise Blair, too. Just never really got that opportunity. Injury is kind of part of it. But John Ursula was never hurt. He was just never activated. Do you think there's just
he had like
enough
one
there?
reception.
Or was it just the fact that there were so many guys ahead of him?
If you look at like a Kansas City, you can talk so long about all the different weapons that they have. McCole Hartman, you're talking about Byron Pringle. Who's this guy? Sammy Watkins, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill. We all know those. But who's Byron Pringle? Well, he just developed a name because he's in a air raid offense where they could just chuck it all over the field. They're trying to outscore you. Patrick Mahomes slinging it to everybody. The problem with Seattle is not that we don't have the personnel to do that, but it's that we don't want to play our offense like that. John Ursua, our number 1 wide receiver, barely gets 10 targets a game. How is our third wide receiver supposed to get 5 or even 3 in a game if we're giving receptions to John Ursua? The problem is he's at the bottom of the food chain. It's going to take a while for him to get up, and this isn't the offense where in terms of he's a little guy. He's not the best blocker, and we need blocking wide receivers. That's part of the problem with him. I just say this isn't the best opportunity for him, unfortunately. I could see him having an impact later on in the season if injuries came into effect and we needed a guy. He definitely has the skill set that we need. He's just not better than the guys that we have in front of him, and that's why I could see him working out a lot better if he were to go to like Atlanta or a Kansas City, somewhere that they're really going to throw the ball around a lot.
Yep.
Yeah. Also,
5 wide receivers
having a breakout season.
I'm sorry.
Do you see Rashad Penny having a breakout season?
Absolutely. The way that the Rams game specifically, I was at the watch party with Norb. The first drive, I remember this very specifically because of fantasy football. My opponent didn't start the running back in time. They picked up Rashad Penny off waiver because the week before he had a very good week. I think it was against the Panthers the week before. He had a really good week. And he put up a whole lot of points. He picks them up on fantasy, and I'm just like, okay, the Seahawks need to do really good, but not Rashad Penny. And that's a game Rashad Penny gets hurt on the first drive after already having 3 fantasy points, after having a 10-yard run and a 20-yard catch. He was a major part of our game plan heading into that game at the Rams. As soon as he got injured on the first drive, it totally stuttered our offense. We went to Chris Carson, but Chris Carson wasn't playing the same role that we wanted Penny to do, and that's to be the pass catcher. We weren't sending Carson out on routes. We were just using him the traditional way we used Carson, and that was part of our problem. We changed our offense based on the personnel that we had. I definitely think that heading into next season, when we have this guy back, he is hungry and ready to take those reps. He sat behind for quite some time now. He's absolutely ready to take the load. He's not a rookie anymore. He's ready to have a bigger role in our offense, and I definitely think they're going to incorporate him more next season.
Good observation, my friend. But yes, I agree. I think he's on the cusp. It's been slow developing, but yeah, you could tell he was starting to move up into that position where it's like they really want to get that 1-2 punch out of both those guys, and it was working. We had it good for about 2 games before he got hurt.
And I stand by it. I feel like if we have Rashad Penny or Chris Carson, we're still alive.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I think we're the 1 seed.
That's almost like Jamal and Aaron right there.
That's better.
That's like a good.
I'll take
dynamic,
our guys.
Yeah, that's dynamic duo. Yeah, I'll take ours every day.
Yeah, those injuries were really devastating. I mean, it was really tough. But, yep. So hopefully both those guys heal up. You know, they're both going to be with the team. They're not going anywhere. So I think they're going to try to, especially Carson, because isn't this going to be his? We were just talking about it. This is his 3rd year coming up. He's drafted 17.
Yeah. They're both
17,
young.
18, 19. But no, this is 4th year, right? Drafted in 17?
I think he has 1 more year before we got to pay him.
Yeah. And then he's 1 year ahead of Penny. So this will be that kind of, they'll be really wanting to show what they can do. You know, whether we keep him or that he wants to make a mark and show to all the other teams that he deserves to be a running back on starting at some other team. So, yeah, a lot of reasons. The guys are motivated for sure. So, yeah.
I'm also.
Norm, you got. I was just gonna say somebody super chatted Devin Harris. He had asked about the defensive end that we should pick up between Ngakwe, Dupree, and Fowler. If we can go into that real quick, I really think Bud Dupree would be a great fit on our defense. Ngakwe, what he could do is get to our quarterback, which is something we're always going to need. So he'd be a good fit automatically. But I think Dupree would be the best fit because we don't know what's going on with Michael Kendricks. We want one of those outside guys. First of all, he's just not afraid to hit anybody. He'll hit anybody running full speed. He's an absolute monster out on the outside. He can rush inside. He's great on the blitz. We like to blitz our outside linebackers. Michael Kendricks, we like fast guys out there, but Dupree is fast. I think he would really fit in with our system. I think that would be a really big addition.
Yep, good call there.
Yeah, and I was going to say that Jadeveon Clowney, like, I was just wondering how we about to pay him. Like, we already have the highest paid quarterback, the highest paid linebacker. Like, how are we about to, like, a long-term contract? Like, how does that even seem possible?
Well, he can't be the highest paid.
Yeah, and it was brought up. We are going to get that bump up in the salary cap, $65 million. So we have money, but we can't just focus on one guy. We got other needs we got to take care of too. So
yeah, definitely.
So we could definitely get him back. It's just a question of how much the Seahawks are willing to pay him and how much is he willing to take to be here. If he really wants to be here, like I said, maybe he would give us a little bit of a discount. But again, I don't think he's earned top tier money because he hasn't been the top tier pass rusher that we'd hoped he'd be. So I think there's a deal in there waiting to be had. So
I'd like
all right,
to see
man.
him healthy too.
Yeah.
Thanks,
But
for the call.
that has been one of his
Nice talking
issues.
to you guys.
All right, thanks, Christian. Appreciate the call. Go Hawks.
Yeah.
All right, let's change this up. I've got who's been waiting a long time. We know the San Francisco 49ers are most likely the favorites, possibly the favorites to win it all. But let's hear from a San Francisco 49er fan, one of the less annoying fans you'll ever find out there. Rohan from Northern California in the Bay Area. Rohan, what's up? Thanks for hanging on.
Hello.
That's what I love about you, man. You're like take a typical 49er fan that you'd see in like in a meme or a cartoon, and then put Rohan. He's like the exact opposite. Rohan, what's up, man? You're like the most low key, less boisterous type fan I could ever imagine. But
it's great to have you.
Yeah. How's it feel, man? I mean, here you are sitting pretty, NFC hosting the NFC Championship. I mean, you guys haven't sniffed the NFC Championship in like 6 years.
Since we knocked you out.
Since we knocked you out 6 years ago. How's it feel to be on top of the
Well,
mountain
I can't complain about anything, so that's always nice.
Is there anything that you as a fan would have any knowledge of with your team that would give any reason to think that you guys would not win this game against the Packers on Sunday?
Let's see if I can come up with an excuse. The two guys on Green Bay's pass rush feasted on Jimmy Garoppolo last time the Packers played the 49ers. I think they combined for 3 sacks.
You talking about the Smith brothers?
Yeah.
What'd you think about the Smith?
What
do you think? What did you think about it? Sorry, man. Talking over you. I just real quick. Which Smith was it who had the snubbed shirt when he got that sack?
I think it was Darius.
Yeah. I mean, that dude.
It's weird saying the Smith Bros and talking about Green Bay because during the Jim Harbaugh days, Smith Bros was a 49ers thing. Alden Smith, Justin Smith.
True. Those are names long since gone. Of course, now, but
yeah, that was a whole other time.
But Green Bay got pretty banged up. But the 49ers they're pretty healthy, aren't they, going into this game? The Green Bay Packers, they had the guys dropping every other play near the end of the game.
Here, I mean, they are getting healthy at the right time. Green Bay, I don't know what their health situation is.
They've
been relatively healthy.
Yeah.
If there's hope for Green Bay in this ball game, because we have a Niner fan on the line, we got to take him down to earth a little bit, even though he's the most mild Niner fan I think I've ever met. Green Bay has a shot in this game because of the whole narrative of the whole season. The unexpected has happened at every single turn, all the way down the line. The Seahawks had an opportunity to stay home for the rest of the season, starting in Week 16 against Arizona. If we win versus Arizona and then versus San Fran, we lost to Arizona, but still had a chance for the number 1 seed. The unexpected happens again. We get all the way down to the 1-yard line. Beast mode is back on our team. Nostalgic moment for every Seahawks fan that's out there and everyone watching the game. The last game of the decade. And we didn't run, and we get the delay of game. Unexpected has happened all season long. The Packers, everything is setting up for this to be a big Niners blowout. They blew them out earlier in the season in the same stadium, and the Packers looked flustered. But the unexpected has happened all season long. The football game still has to be played. There's playmakers on both sides of the ball. Green Bay's got a shot in this ball game. They have the better quarterback. The head coaches are very similar. They come from the same tree. Green Bay has a legitimate shot in this game. They just have to really utilize Aaron Jones in the passing game and rushing attack.
And Noah, is this the point where you flip it on me and then say, but they're going to get killed?
Yeah. Normally this would be, you're kind of on to me. I think I think it's about an 8-point loss. I think it's like 31-23. The spread is at 7.5, and what I'm basically saying is swallow the points with Sam Fran. Green Bay has a shot, and I'm gonna hype up Green Bay specifically because there's a Niners fan on the phone. But Green Bay, I don't think they can get it done because I don't think they're mentally tough enough on the road in the playoffs. They didn't show me a lot of mental toughness at home. It took a lot of help from Seattle's play calling and the referees.
What do you think there, Rohan? How are you feeling about this game?
I've watched enough Green Bay Packers in the playoffs over the years to know that this game it usually isn't good. It's not going to be a blowout. Usually, if the Packers get blown out in round 1 to a team and they face them in the playoffs, it's an unnecessarily close game. I mean, look at your championship game back like a few years ago. The Cardinals, same thing when they had like that crazy game in overtime.
Yep.
So too early to say anything about Green Bay losing or anything like that. So I'm going to just let that game play itself out. As far as the AFC is concerned, I think the Titans will win in Arrowhead.
Well, Noah seemed to think, well, you kind of said you think the Titans can do it, and then you reversed on me and said, but they'll probably lose. But that would be the most, I think, wouldn't the Titans be the most anticlimactic team to make it to the Super Bowl? It'd be the least sexiest pick of all the teams out there that could have gone. It's the one you go, the Titans? Really?
And you just think about this matchup. Like, literally, I was looking back at the stat. You guys know I'm a stat head. I was looking back at the stats between the Kansas City Chiefs and Tennessee back when they played way back when. The records when they played each other was 6-4 versus 5-5. That's so disappointing. This is the AFC Championship game. If either one of these teams win the Super Bowl, first of all, of course, everyone in Seattle is going to be rooting for whoever comes out of the AFC. But if Tennessee makes it to the Super Bowl, that's just one of those things where you got to love football for it. You got to love the turnover, the fact that the underdog is finally making it. Either way, an underdog is making it because Kansas City wasn't even in the conversation when Pat Mahomes got hurt against Denver, and that defense was struggling right before it. And then the defense responds, everything starts getting better. Well-coached team down the stretch of the season with a good quarterback started going on a run. Baltimore struggled or goes down to the playoffs. New England goes down to the playoffs. Now we have Mike Vrabel coaching in the conference championship game. I think if the Titans go to the Super Bowl, literally, like, that is the reason I love football. Just right there. The Titans made the Super Bowl at 9-7.
That's true. That would be the ultimate. See, there really is parity in the NFL if a team like the Titans can actually go all the way and defeat all the odds, and with all these high-flying, big quarterback names going in there, they make it in of a Tannehill. It's like, what? You got Mahomes, Wilson, Brady, Rodgers, and you're gonna give me Tannehill? Never would have seen that coming years ago. But good for him, though, man. Like, got him out of that bad situation and got him on a team he could actually do something with. So it's cool. But I still want to see KC in there just because I think they have the best chance at beating the 49ers. That'd be a much more interesting game for sure.
I don't trust the Chiefs more. I trust the Titans more than the Chiefs at this point.
Yeah, the Niner fan says that, of course.
It's not really because of that. I mean, the Super Bowl or whatever. I'll deal with that whenever it comes around. I think the Titans will win mainly because they can run the ball. The Chiefs, I don't even know if they have a running back at this point. All they do is throw it down the field, throw it. Like, Mahomes drops back, throws 50 yards down the field. That's basically what they do at this point. Titans, I feel like if you can run the ball, you can play good defense, you can make a run for it.
Well, now that we're not in the Super Bowl, I already watched a defensive low-scoring game last year. I don't need to see another one. We saw that. I mean, it was good. I liked the game. A lot of people were like, it's such a boring game. It was boring if you're into scoring. If you're into scoring, it was really boring. But I actually liked the game itself because it was just a very interesting chess match. But I don't need to see another one. I want to see some throwing. I want to see some high-scoring, 42 to 35, 38 kind of game in the Super Bowl this year. Since we're not playing in it, let's get something fun. Let's get some fireworks.
Well, and what was fun about last year was, first of all, heading into the championship weekend, it was New Orleans versus the Rams, and it was Kansas City versus New England. Worst case scenario, it was going to be our division rival versus the team that beat us in the Super Bowl, and that's what happened. So, given the circumstances in the Super Bowl, watching the defensive struggle was kind of fun. I got to watch both teams struggle that I don't like, and that was kind of fun about it. And one team got extremely devastated, missed the playoffs the following year. This year, that's not going to happen, because no matter what, there's going to be one bad team and one good team. So I'm with Norb. I want to see more offense. I'd like to see Pat Mahomes go sling that football the way that he should. I'd like to see Pat Mahomes win a ring. Just good for him. Kudos to him. He had the great season last year in terms of stats. Now it's time to play great winning football.
Plus, I don't want to see any more bang, bang, Niner gang filling up every possible comment.
As a Niner fan, I despise that chant. I mean, I was okay with what it started out as. It was just a little catchphrase that a few Niners fans would use, throw around, like red and gold for them, dead and cold, or something like that. And then this season came around. And then all the Niners fans were starting. It just became their motto.
Right.
Like. It's like how the Ravens kept saying whatever that was. It's like Niners doing the same thing.
Well, I respect the fact that you've been calling in for a good, I don't know, a couple of years now, right? Since you started calling in, it's been part of my little circle. It's been a couple. So before you guys were good, you were in there during the time. So I knew you before, they became hot. But there have been so many bandwagon 49er fans who have come out of hiding this year. I mean, it's just been crazy, but they've been definitely lighting me up, So I'm just waiting for my chance to come out and say a little something when this is all said and done. But we'll have to see,
Hopefully, the Niners don't end up on top, right?
Otherwise, it's never gonna hear the end of it.
One of the comments right now, E40's Niner Gang song is fire. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. The colors are cool and the song is pretty good. But it doesn't make it right.
Yes, sir.
Oh God, I despise the song.
Yeah. E40 gets them lit up. I remember somebody posted.
I despise songs.
Somebody posted something on my somewhere and said something like, "The 49ers have E40 and the Seahawks have this guy." Pointing at me, I was like, touche,
you have Macklemore? Yeah, you have Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. Maybe you can hear Can't Hold Us on Lewis.
Well, they were specifically trying to dig at me, so it was like, okay, that was a good one. That was a good one. But I'm not trying to be no E40. I'm just doing my own thing, you know what I'm saying? Anyway. All right, man. Well, I would say good luck. I don't think you're going to need it. I think you guys are going to be in the Super Bowl. But I would be very pleasantly surprised to watch you guys happily pleasantly surprised if you guys got taken down by Rodgers and the Packers. But I don't love those guys either.
So you're rooting. Huh. Didn't see that coming. How many?
Am I rooting for the 49ers? I didn't say I was rooting for the 49ers.
Have you ever rooted for the Packers? Like, ever?
I'm not rooting for either of you guys. But someone has to win. There's no ties in this one.
I want a tie.
So it's just kind of stuck knowing that one of you guys is going to have to represent the NFC, and just hope the AFC comes out on top. Sorry, man, it's nothing personal.
We could be like baseball. One of you guys wins and then gets fired the next year because you cheated.
Oh, wait, we already saw the cheaters go down. Oh!
Bang,
the Giants manager already retired, so whatever.
All right, man. We got just a few minutes left on the show. I'm going to try to bang out a couple more calls in here, but it's always good talking to you, man. Right. We'll see how your team does this weekend. It's going to be interesting. Or maybe
hope for the best, but whatever.
All right, the most unenthusiastic 49er fan in existence. Rohan, thanks for the call. Appreciate it, man.
All right.
All right, too funny. All right, this guy's been hanging on for an hour and 21 minutes. I cannot not take his call. From Sonora, California.
Yo, what's up? You know who this is?
Who's this?
This Team Trip Z. What's up, man?
Oh my gosh! From one 49er fan to the next. Could you turn down? Could you turn down your speakerphone because I keep hearing you?
You know how to bring the heat.
Okay. All right. Do me a favor before you start your thing. Can you turn down your speakerphone or something? I keep hearing my echo in your phone.
Hold on.
Oh, this is gonna be good, guys. You guys stayed on. This is Team Triple G Mono. Big time 49. The opposite of Rohan. Okay. You get your speakerphone thing fixed?
Yeah, you hear me?
I hear you. The floor is yours, my friend. Team Triple G Mono. Go ahead.
Hey, what's up? Hey, I try to warn you guys, man. I try to tell you.
Well, what was that?
Look, I came last time before Week 17 game. I told you that the reason why Clowney had a big game was because Joe Staley had just came back from injury. He was rusty. That's the only reason why he did anything. And what happens? Clowney got it down. He got bullied. He didn't do shit. He couldn't do nothing. You see what I'm saying? And when we had Sanders and Kittle, it was easy for us to score. So, you know, it shouldn't even been close at the end, you know, but the fact that we scored too fast because your defense is trash, you know, so for us scoring so fast, we gave you some time to go down and score a touchdown, whatever not, you know. But, you know, it's just whatever whatever you want to call.
Yeah, you guys did get out ahead of us, but the bottom line was we were 1 inch, 2 inches away from beating you guys. So it wasn't like you guys exactly dominated that game. You should have the way you started, but you didn't. You're lucky. You're just lucky. You're lucky that you guys came away with a win at that game, and you know it.
Your defense is not good, and we scored on your defense just too easy. So, you know, defense has to go back on the field, and you know, the rest is history. But, I mean, you guys want to complain about injuries. We've been had injuries. D4 didn't even play. D4 was out. Quan Alexander didn't even play. Our safety Tart didn't even play. Our center didn't even play. Come on, you guys could make excuses, but we had better players that were out. You understand what I'm saying?
Better players that were out. We didn't have our center. We didn't have our left tackle. We didn't have our outside linebacker. We didn't have any of our running backs. I'm not going to get into a pissing match of who was more banged up. You guys had your injuries. We had our injuries. But the bottom line is they kind of equalized themselves out. It was a close game. I'm just saying. You guys didn't dominate. It was a close game. But you guys won it. I give you credit for that.
I just wish we would have got the game fully healthy, because then it would have really been a blowout, you know. But
if we got the game fully healthy, we would have had a much better answer in the end too. It would have been a different result. Come on, man.
At the end of the day, we won the division, like I said, you know, and the things that I said, it was true, you know, with that team, the kid and all that came out the fact that I said. I wasn't just saying bullshit, you know. It was all facts, you know what I mean? I wasn't just talking, you know. I was saying things that were real, you know. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna tell you, we're gonna win the Super Bowl, and we're really young, bro. And I'm gonna tell you, we're going back to back. That's a fact.
All right. Now that you guys won the division and you guys are the only team still alive, do you still feel like we cheated, like back when we played you guys and won at your house? Like, how do you feel about that game? Because you were making a whole lot of excuses about that one.
You talk about the first game?
Yep.
Oh, the injuries, like I said, the only reason why Clowney went off is because Joe Staley was rusty, and it was true, because when we got the rematch, we didn't know what I said.
Is it just me, or does this sound get all whacked?
That's a higher power.
Okay.
That's enough, Niners
But I'm gonna tell you right now, man, we're really young, and we're gonna be better next year. I'm just telling you, it's gonna be between you and the Rams to ballot it out for second place, because we win in the division again, and we're going back to back in the Super Bowl. That's just a fact.
Wow. You might want to win the first Super Bowl before you start talking about back-to-back, though. I'm just saying.
Or make it.
Hey, look, I'm going to tell you right now. The only team that had a chance at beating us was the Ravens, and that's a maybe. You know? So, you better hope the Titans don't get to the Super Bowl, because if the Titans get to the Super Bowl, that's a walk in the park.
So you don't even have any respect for the Kansas City Chiefs then?
No, what I'm telling the Kansas City's the best team to have the chance. But I'm saying don't let the Titans get there, because then it'll be a walk in the park. That's what I'm trying to say. But if KC's your best hope, but you better hope KC wins, because if they don't win, it's over.
So you're not even thinking twice about the Packers.
KC can't stop a nosebleed. They can't stop the run, and the way we run the football. Come on, we could go back and forth with them like we did against the New Orleans. We could get in the shootout, and we got a defense. We could stop Mahomes.
You know what I would say is an argument like very strongly against the 49ers. People, just play devil's advocate here. Because people talk about playoff time, right? You want to have what are the two things you need? A great head coach and a great quarterback. There's an argument. You play Green Bay now, you play Kansas City in the Super Bowl, you'll have a worse quarterback and a worse head coach in both the championship and Super Bowl game.
You said we have the worst quarterback?
In the matchup as well as head coach. You might be out-coached and out-quarterbacked in both games.
Hey, don't get it wrong, man. Don't get it wrong. Jimmy Garoppolo had a better season, and I'd rather take Jimmy Garoppolo right now. People hate on Jimmy Garoppolo. That dude has
Aaron Rodgers and Mahomes?
He comes through in clutch moments. I'm saying Rodgers.
I guess Aaron
not
Rodgers.
Mahomes. Oh, definitely not Mahomes. But I'm saying I'll take Jimmy over Rodgers right now any day. Jimmy Garoppolo has came through clutch. He has came through. He throws his little picks, but once he throws his picks, he's perfect the rest of the game. That's what I like about him. He's very clutch. He's won us a lot of games. You know what I mean? It's just they don't give him the respect he deserves. But how do we lose 9 straight games, and then Jimmy Garoppolo comes and we win 5 straight?
Wait,
you know what I'm saying?
You say he's very clutch, but like
avenues
against
Jimmy
Arizona,
this, Jimmy that.
Where is he
but
having
the dude's
these game-winning
baller,
drives?
you know what I mean?
He's not clutch against the big teams. What about when we played you guys the first time or the second time? He
what do you
did
mean?
enough.
He got
Seattle
us in field goal range to win the game. What are you
the
talking
final
about?
game of the decade, and Jimmy G had no say in it because he went 3 and out and gave the ball back when it mattered most.
What are you talking about? When you scored, we scored. When you scored, we scored. And then you just happen to have the ball at the end, and our defense they held it down and we won. But
yeah, because
game,
that's because Jimmy Garoppolo threw 3 incomplete passes.
And in the second game, he did what he had to do. He was driving downfield. What do you mean?
He threw 3 incomplete passes after you guys missed a field goal. We blew our opportunity, gave it back to you, and then you guys could have won it on the next drive. And he threw incomplete passes, gave it back to Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson, he would have been the reason he cost you the game because he threw the pick.
But we didn't because
we
gave you guys gave you one more chance.
Out, but you don't want to point out Russell Wilson. Come on, man. He's good, but he ain't. They make him seem like he ain't no Mahomes. He's good. The only reason why what makes him good is that he's mobile and he can get out the pocket like Lamar Jackson and extend plays. That's the only reason. You know what I mean? Like that's it. Like, come on.
What makes Jimmy G good?
Jimmy G is just good, bro. He's clutch, he's calm, and he's accurate, bro. And those are facts. All those picks half of those picks that he threw was because it bounced off the receiver's hands, and those are facts. You could just go look at film. Wide receivers kept dropping passes, or they couldn't catch the ball and they'll bounce. You know, and that's not his fault that wide receivers couldn't catch the ball. That's the reason why we went and got Emmanuel Sanders. And I called it. I said we need to get a wide receiver. And what happens? We got Emmanuel Sanders. I knew that's what we had to do because these wide receivers couldn't catch.
Jimmy G did throw 2 balls that went right into the hands of Seahawks linebackers, and we didn't catch them. But those were not off the 49ers fans, by the way.
What about when we beat the Rams and it was 3rd and 16 and he converted, and then again after that 3rd and 16 he converted to win the game? How about that? You got to give him credit, bro. He's clutch.
Did you listen to the Rams in the post-game press conference? I believe Jalen Ramsey was saying they had a blown coverage.
Well, hey, that's their fault. What about the first 3rd and 16? You're not going to give him credit for at least that one? Come on, man! At the end of the day, he made it happen. He won us the game. What about the Cardinals game? Didn't he win us the game?
Give him credit for making the pass. I'm just saying, against the Rams team that didn't make the playoffs. You know, you talk about how talented this roster is. Well, if the roster is so talented, you have to take some points away from Jimmy G because he's throwing to the best tight end in football right now. Speedy wide receivers. They were getting open all season long.
Okay, you want to talk about the Rams, man? The Rams should have swept you. Look, as a matter of fact, the Rams and us were a field goal away from sweeping you, both of us. You would have been swept if they made the field goal. We made our field goal. You would have been swept. And come on, man. How are you going to win the West if you can't beat the West? Come on, man. You lost to everybody in the West, and you're going to come over here and
we were 2 inches from sweeping you, so don't act like you guys took it by storm and that you dominated us.
Sweeping you.
And we missed
we're this and that and everything. And we won the division, so we won. We won.
Hey, I'll give you the division, but let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
You would have lost in Minnesota the following week. I can tell you that.
I don't know about that. Let me tell you something though. The Seahawks, the 49ers. This is my thing about Garoppolo. Garoppolo is he's a solid quarterback, but he is a product of a very great system. You have a great coach with a very good offensive system. He fits in that system and he executes it very well. You take him out of that system and make him a quarterback by himself, I don't think he's a great quarterback. He's a very good quarterback in your system, and your system is very good, and you have very good players built in that system. I will give you guys that.
Yeah, I
you guys
understand.
have a very well-constructed system.
But look,
I'm not going to go crown him as a great
10 straight
quarterback.
Games. We couldn't even buy a win. And what happens, he comes in and wins us 5 games. He went 2-0 in New England when he got the chance to start when Brady suspended. Now he comes to another system, and we went undefeated. Come on, you got to understand that, bro. We couldn't even win a game. We lost 10 straight, and he comes and just bam, it's over. What happens? He goes down. It's over. What happens the next year? We're 13-3 NFC champions, about to go to the Super Bowl. Come on, man. You got to give him respect. He's 20-5, bro. You got to give him respect.
You remember the one game he came in when he still wasn't a starter yet, and it was against the Seahawks, and he wasn't able to beat us? What was that one about?
Dude, what do you mean? What do you mean? What did Russell Wilson do? He took pick, and we said Jimmy set up our field goal kicker to win the game. What did Russell Wilson do? He did the same thing. It's just that Russell Wilson.
When Jimmy G first got acquired by you guys, and your starting quarterback got benched or he went out for some reason. Jimmy G came on the field, and it didn't count as a loss for Jimmy G because he didn't start the game. But the Seahawks won that game. Jimmy G had the ball in the opponent's territory, unable to get it done.
When Jimmy wasn't even a starter and they brought him in and he scored a touchdown on you?
But
is that what
you're the one talking about the New England, he was just fine in New England. I thought he'd be just fine instantly when he gets there. You're trying to sell me on him.
He is, bro. He was good in New England and he's good right now. There's a reason why Belichick wanted to keep him over Brady. There's a reason why Kyle Shanahan wanted him. Come on, don't forget Kyle Shanahan is the mastermind who made that 2016 offense. Come on, that's Mike Shanahan's son. Come on, man. He's well-bred. Come on, man. You're talking about, come on, a young go upcoming. Kyle Shanahan is going to win the Super Bowl, and we're going to be good for a long time because we're very young. Imagine Nick Bosa, D Ford, and all our D-line, right? We're going to be, this was the first year together. Imagine next year. And Quan Alexander and D Ford were missed hella games. Imagine when we're undefeated, we had everybody together. Nobody could beat us when we're undefeated. But we started losing bodies, and people started getting injured. Like Sherman said, we're the best defense until we started losing bodies. But what happens when we get our players back? We smash the Vikings. They don't even know what to do. Come on, man.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, well, I could say the same thing. Seattle was great until they started losing players, too. So the injury thing happens to every team. Look, man, you won the division. You earned it. You beat us on our field. Congratulations. You guys are hosting the NFC Championship. I give you all that stuff, man. But you don't need me to tell you that you got a great quarterback. You don't need to hear me tell you that you got a great quarterback because I'm not going to tell you that you have a great quarterback. But I'm going to tell you you've got a great team. You've got a great defense. You've got a great offensive scheme. You got a great head coach. I love the way you guys have the offensive play designs that you guys have. But I'm not going to crown Jimmy Garoppolo as a great quarterback. All right, I'm going to give you everything else, but I'm going to wait the verdict's not in for me yet on Garoppolo. He's good, but I'm not going to say he's great. Now, you should be happy with that. You should be happy with everything that you've got to this point. I mean, what else do you want to hear from us, man? I mean, you earned it, so we can't argue that. But I'd say earn the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl before you talk about back-to-back, because you haven't got back-to-back until you get the first one. And I'm just saying, look at the Rams last year. Look at the Rams last year.
We haven't been to the NFC Championship. You haven't been to the NFC Championship. You were in the NFC Championship a year after we met, only one time. After that, look, I'd rather suck for a couple years and know I'm going to go win the Super Bowl in a couple years instead of just going to the playoff, exit. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I hear all these people saying bandwagons. Come on, man. Every team that gets good gains fans. That's just a fact. Every single team. You can't sit here and say when you guys don't have bandwagons, especially when you guys won the Super Bowl. You guys gained a lot of fans. You can't. I don't believe in that. You can't just say, "Oh, bandwagons." That shit don't exist because every team gets bandwagons. When you start winning, people hop on the wagon. But don't forget, there's real fans. You know what I mean? You can't just. But anyways, I'm gonna let you guys go. We won the division. We're gonna win the Super Bowl. The Rams and you gotta fight it out for second place next year, because it's a wrap. The Niners are back. All that LOB, all those days are gone. This is a new era. A young coach, young team. You guys are just no more. You know what I mean? We took over the whole game. I'm just trying to tell you before it happens. I already told you we're gonna win the division. It happened, and that's it.
That's right, man. Bang, bang, Niner gang. 49ers all the way. Yeah.
All the way.
The average IQ of the live stream just went down.
All right, man. Well, I am looking forward to hearing from you when all of the dust is settled and we see where things end up. It's gonna be interesting. But thanks for the call, man.
Hey, but don't take this personal. It's a rivalry. I'm not gonna come in here and talk all soft. This is a rivalry. You got to bring the heat. You got to feel it. You know what I mean? It's a rivalry, but it's always good to talk to you guys, and you know everything's good, man. It was a good year. We deserve it. We finally won in Seattle. You know, I was like, man, I couldn't believe it when you guys were at the one. I was like, no way. You know, but hey, you know, good year, man. You guys have a good night.
And it still gives me great joy to know how much you were sweating in those last 2 minutes of that game, because I know you knew that we were going to lose that game until it didn't happen. But I know you were sweating. You were sweating in your boots, man. All right, man.
We played some good games.
You take it easy, man.
Hey, good games, but hey, man, good night. You guys have a good night. Nice talking to you guys.
All right.
Always a pleasure.
All right. Well, I didn't see that one, I just spiced up my night a little bit. God, that was fun. Like I say, that is like, we go from Rohan to this guy. That is like polar opposites. Crazy, man.
Yeah, we should just have them argue against each other.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right, I got to wrap this up. I'm going to go one more call just because I know this one guy's been hanging on for a long time. One more call, and then we're going to wrap up the show. Sorry, I couldn't get – there's a few of you still hanging on, but I got most of y'all in there. So this is it Rogers or is it Philip?
Oh, Brandon.
Brandon. Yeah, whoa. Hello there. Brandon, what's up, man? I got you in there. I knew you were waiting a long time. Brandon.
Yeah, what's up, Norb?
What's up, man?
Appreciate it, man.
All right. End the show on a good note right here.
Yes, sir. Yeah, but, you know, that loss against Green Bay, you know, that was, you know, when it was halftime, I had it like, I did not think that. I thought we were just going to play another sloppy half, but, you know, they got it together, and then, you know, coming down, beast mode, gets those 2 touchdowns. You know, I felt like the energy was back in. I felt like we could stop Green Bay, but, you know, Malik Turner drops that ball on first down. I think that was the killer of the whole drive, because if he catches that ball, it sets us up a lot better. Now, you know, barring Myers missed the field goal in the second quarter, you know, all that, whatever, and then that fumble in the beginning, that was that really could have killed us if Green Bay would have got the ball off that. But, you know,
that was a weird call, by the way, but yeah.
It really was, yeah. But, you know, I think when you look at the game overall, I mean, we were lucky to only be down 21-3 at half. If I thought, because I thought it should have been way more the way we were playing. I mean, a little bit down the second quarter, the defense was they were playing well. They were clamping them up at the goal line. They stopped them twice, and then Jones just ran it in. But I mean, I still think that we have a lot to look forward to coming next season because we had 3 running backs out. If Carson and Penny in that game, I think we honestly win because I think we control the clock and and I think with Ziggy Ansah being out, I think that really tore us down too a bit. I think same with Mike Upati, but I think we have a lot to look forward to next season. I think we'll be healthier, we'll be better. Maybe we can bring Chris Richard back, or maybe we can bring Wade Phillips in on the defensive side. Get these younger guys, get coached up better, and just a bunch of other stuff. But I think, also I think Travis Homer actually he actually really played well. He stepped up well for sure, and I think it's just that Malik Turner drop. I think that's what really killed us. I really do.
Yeah, it's all his fault. That was brutal, though. It really did kill the momentum. But, whoa, got some kind of alien code going on there. Well, Brandon, I think the point is there, a tough loss, but every game that you lose, what ends your season, is going to be a tough loss. But we do have hope for next year, and, I'm with you. I think there's a lot to be optimistic for. It'd be one thing if you felt like this was the end of an era and all these great players were leaving, like it started to feel like about 3 or 4 seasons ago when you felt like, man, this team, as we know, it's all about to come apart. But we're young, too. We got a lot of new guys that are making, just getting started. So, I think we've got a lot of potential upside in the years to come.
And
but we got
what's funny? I remember after we lost everybody coming into that season, everybody thought we were going to go like 8-8 or like 7-9, and we were so banged up. We went 11-5 and went to the second round. Like, that just shows the character of this team. It really does. And I think that we can really contend for the top seed again next year. I really do, because 11-5 without 3 running backs and a few offensive linemen for those few games, I think that really shows the character of this team. It really does.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think there's a lot of hope. I think it what I kind of like about it was, I didn't talk about this before, but I think Russell at the end of last year, he had that optimistic feeling like last year was like 2012 and this would be like 2013. Didn't turn out that way. But this year, in his kind of exit press conference or interview, he kind of didn't have that sort of usual optimistic, everything's all great. Wilson kind of called that last loss unacceptable, and he had kind of a tone of, we need to do better. We've got to be better next year than the way that the thing finished. And so I think that Russell might have a little bit more of a fire under his belly, starting next year, and maybe that's enough to kind of help tweak the system towards, let's get this thing a little bit more, fix the things that, break away from that pattern that we've had that's kind of stymied us from making it further than we've had at this point. So I think Russell Wilson's a little more motivated. I think he's starting to feel that urgency, like we got to get this done sooner than later. So anyway, we'll see what happens. We've got 7 or 8 months to think about it.
One more quick thing for you, Norb, just before. So with Will Dissly's injury history, do you think there's any reason to draft a tight end, or are you fine with sticking with Hollister or Ed Dixon?
Well, Ed Dixon hasn't proven that he can stay on the field. Obviously, he didn't ever make it on the field. And Hollister's all right, but he's not a number 1 receiver. We might need to, because I know that Seattle wants to run a lot of double tight end sets, and we were down to 1. So we need at least 2 with a backup. So I think right now, I don't think we've got a second option that's viable right now. So we might need to do that. So that's another position we didn't really talk about, but we'll address that pretty soon here in the next couple months, see where it goes. But hey, man, we're gonna wrap things up here. But Brandon, it's great to have you on and hear from you.
Yeah,
talk to you next time.
Norb, appreciate it. But yeah, we'll be back next year for sure.
All right. All right, thanks, man. Thanks for the call. Go Hawks.
Sure. Thank you.
All right, that is a wrap on the calls, and so. Whew, what a journey, man. Noah, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's been a lot of fun talking Hawks with you.
You know, it's interesting. You know, what I love about football and what I love about the passion. You know, Triple G Mono, while he's got some, you know, logic issues, I love his passion. You know, you got to love anyone who's that passionate about your team. You know, and he said something interesting. He said, "I would rather suck for several years than win the Super Bowl than being in the playoffs and not make it every time." I mean, he's obviously digging on Seattle, the fact that they've sucked for 5 years and we've been in the playoffs virtually every season. That brings up a good question. Like, what is better? Would you rather be competitive for 5 years and be in the playoffs but not win it, or be terrible for 5 straight seasons and then come back strong and suddenly win it in one season? Yeah, I mean, it's actually a good question because, I mean, would you want to suck for 5 years? They sucked. Right? I mean, really bad for 5 years. Who wants to have 5 years of, do you really want to wait an entire half a decade before you can actually enjoy any kind of success, but have, I mean, they haven't won it all, so he's getting a little ahead of himself, but you know what I mean? But it's been kind of nice, although we get spoiled with the fact that we've been in the playoffs almost every single year.
Yeah, no question about it. I feel like the answer to that question, is it better to struggle for a while or is it better to constantly be in the playoffs? The answer to that question is actually our head coach's name. Let's compete. I want to give ourselves a shot every single year to go and make a special run. Look at Tennessee this year. What if they would have sucked this year and just barely missed the playoffs? Now the Ravens and New England would both be playing in the AFC Championship game. That literally could be the scenario had the Titans not made the playoffs the way that they did. It was that close to being a difference. The NFL is a game of inches. All you can ask for is a shot. That's why I prefer competing.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't trade it. You know, it's just a whole season's a long way to go and not be in it. It just makes the entire and what I said. If you listen to my previous video, you should go check it out. I started off the whole point of what I said. What was great about this season isn't the fact that you didn't come home winning the Super Bowl. It's the fact that you had this entire season of amazing memories, of great wins, the feeling of great moments, watching your team come together, make it into the playoffs, and you had hope throughout the whole year. And we have 7-8 seasons of that with Russell Wilson. But if you had like 5 losing seasons, I mean, that's a long time and not a lot of good memories to have. I'll take those great memories of all those playoff games that we've had, even the ones that we didn't do great in. Like I went with my buddy Pat down to Carolina to watch the Seahawks get down 31-0, but crawl back to be within 31-24 and an onside kick away from having the greatest comeback in playoffs. We didn't win it, but man, that was a fun fight back. And I had that memory of it, even though we didn't win it. And it got me on an NFL TV commercial. So it was the Ticketmaster commercial. It was, what a slight benefit. Anyway, so, it's every year is something, that you just want to be in it. You just want to have that hope. And I think Russell Wilson always gives us that chance. And everything else just has to come around him. So that's, I guess, my final thought. With Russell Wilson, you always have a chance. We just got to tweak a few things on the outside of that, and we've got a chance, baby. What about you,
Help
Noah?
a brother
Final thoughts?
out. Seattle, to put a wrap on this season, you got to love the amount of effort. You got to love the hunger, the aggression. The biggest thing with our team, because we have such a unique locker room with the way that we have a player's head coach, and we have after the Super Bowl loss that we had back Super Bowl 49, there were inevitably a bunch of bad apples, if you will, in the locker room. And those started falling off, and they started making things really rough for everyone around the locker room and in the situation, because it was awkward. There was contention. There was tension. People were arguing with each other. They tried to keep it behind closed doors, but they couldn't. Eventually, a lot of those people that were more vocal about the decision that Pete Carroll made with the call really had to go. It caused a split in the locker room. The number one thing moving forward for Seattle is just get guys that believe in our system, that believe we can win, that believe all they want is a shot. You have to have that mentality with Seattle. All you want is a shot, and you have to compete. Just the same way that they can get their position on the field is the same way the Seahawks can win playoff games. And that's why Pete has that mentality in the locker room. As long as we keep bringing guys in. Picture perfect example, DK Metcalf. Came in, happy to block early. Now come playoff game, breaks a rookie record for receiving yards because he started off by doing the right things. That's all about mentality. As long as we keep bringing in guys like that, the Seahawks will be back stronger next season.
All right. Well, I want to thank you guys for watching, for all of you guys who called in, for all of you who've been blowing up the chat, and to my special guest, Noah Boelter. Noah, your information there for those who want to find you on social media at DJ Squabo. Is there anything you want to promote as far as anything you got coming up?
Just a show every Saturday, KGRG app. I talk sports from 10 to 1. Norb, you're always welcome as well. Just, I don't even have to invite you, man. Just let me know whenever you're available on Saturday.
All right, and you'll be continuing that through the rest of the calendar year, or at least until
That's
it doesn't.
Week. That's
All right.
every week, baby.
10 to 1 on the KGRG app.
Yes, sir.
That's where you'll find him. And then you can always just hit him up at DJ Squabo. All right, you guys. Thanks a lot for joining us for this past, 2 hours and 25 minutes, not including the false start on NorbCam in the beginning. But it's been fun. We'll do more of this. We're not done, that's for sure. And we'll just keep talking throughout this, the rest of this NFL playoff season. And then as the offseason starts, we'll be right there talking about free agency, draft picks, and we'll do it all over again. But we'll see what happens. It's gonna be a fun ride in 2020. I think we got a lot of things to look forward to. But Noah, looking forward to more collabs, man. It's gonna be a fun year. I'm glad we've gotten to get to know each other during this past season.
Yeah, no, we got a lot of fun stuff coming up. I got some ideas. We gonna talk.
All right. Okay, guys, make sure you hit us up. Please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and get me to 37K. I'm so close. On my way, trying to get up to that next big mark of 40,000. But it's one at a time. One sub at a time, and that starts with you guys. So I appreciate your support all the time, and we'll talk to y'all later. Go Hawks.